really like it that you took?
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of saying I misrepresented myself.
Away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
You want me to knock you in the head?
Well, I want you to swear to God on the Bible that you walked on the moon.
Okay.
If you walked on the moon, we're given the opportunity to swear to God that you walked on the moon.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to get the hell knocked out of you if you don't leave me alone.
So why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Cybro, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator in NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight. We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight. We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight. I don't hit people, but you're going to be on the deck because you're going to head out. I got a black house.
When the shadows interrupt, I don't give a damn about all that shit. When the shadows interrupt, I don't give a damn about all that shit. When the shadows interrupt, I don't give a damn about all that shit. When the shadows interrupt, I don't give a damn about all that shit.
Lunar orbit being falsified.
Being falsified?
Correct. We got an unedited tape from a source at the Johnson Space Center.
Totally nonsense.
Take yourself and get the fuck out. Take yourself and get the fuck out.
I'm back in my element. I'm back on my grind. This is irrelevant. All that matters is the climb. I'm such a perfectionist. So everything gotta be right. Just setting a precedent. This right here's a testament to my sacrifice. Back in my element.
Find absolutely no reason why anyone would think you crazy if you described this meeting of ours.
You're feeling very sleepy, very relaxed. Alex Trebek, the game show host?
Well, well, well. We are back again. And we should be, hopefully, live and cooking by gas, ready to go. And I guess it is, let me check, still Friday, so we made it. We made it just in time. So we're here. We do not bend. We do not break. We do not give up. We keep going. And that's the way we do it. Anyway, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in this absolutely insane world that we live in. Holy Jesus. Where do you even begin? Oh, the beginning. Yeah, the beginning. Ulick might remember if he's about when the beginning was. Anybody want to put a date or a year, an amount of years on how old the Earth might be? Yeah, we might expand on that. That's another ever-changing agenda scenario, fairy tale, basically. I guess that the Earth, it must have an age, right? Surely it's got an age, or does it have no age? You can let me know. So we're back again. We did have last time we were on technical issues beforehand. Tonight, pretty good. I kind of think it might have been, or it could be either the weather here or my laptop. So it's not aliens, it's not CIA, it's not MI5. It'll be me that's probably messed it up. Although I might blame. I know my youngest son. Yeah, he had it. I think he might have downloaded stuff on it. Nothing bad, I don't think. But I feel like it's been a bit laggy since then. You know, once you get to know a device, you can see how it's doing. But we're all good. I think we'll be okay tonight. We'll try not to do an extensive, pointless, hopeless monologue, because we're good at that, right? I'm saying we, of course, me. But we'll say hello, we'll see what the score is, we'll cover mainly one topic, and of course we do have the rewriting history class. No, wait a minute, what's it called again? Oh yeah, the unpreviously fought syndrome, that's it. Which is basically a history rewriting class that we have every other Friday rather than maybe every Friday. Of course, on the last Friday of every month, I do a movie. Well, I'm part of a movie review panel. And the next one, I don't think they've picked a film yet, so I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I know what the score is. But yeah, it's good. It's good crack. I do enjoy a film or two. Yeah, I think maybe when I take my son to the cinema, I tend to not enjoy a film as much then. I'm always a bit, I don't know, on edge. But when I'm at home, I reckon I enjoy a movie a bit more laid back rather than out and about on guard with your kids in the cinema. To be fair, the cinema here, it's not big. It's not big, and unless it's a big movie and it's been highly anticipated, you've no an issue getting a seat. But the prices, man, holy moly. Honestly, bloody robbery. Absolute robbery. It's like, Jesus Christ. So I would say I prefer it watching it at home. So I tend not to go. Oh shit, what did I do there? I tend not to go to the cinema, but my youngest son Billy, he does like it. My daughter not so much. The eldest, he doesn't bother. But the youngest enjoys it. So we tend to go from time to time. On a rare occasion, right? Anything to keep them happy. So we'll say hello. We'll jump into the chat. Let me see if I can. I'm trying to multitask here to get the slides ready. Never a good idea. We'll see what the score is in the hood. First in the door, Saladin. Is Putin a grey? A grey alien. But wait, hey, who am I to rule anything out? Right? Who am I? I'm sure I've seen stories. Oh, Putin's a time traveller. He's been called a time traveller. I think Trump as well, the whole Barron Trump situation. The book, the story. So yeah, he's been called a time traveller. Has Trump been called a grey or a ginger alien? Probably not. Would I say he is? I don't think he is. He appears to be he appears to be of the humankind. I nearly said one of us, but no, that's not gonna that we didn't cut it with Trump. He's a different kettle of fish from anybody that we know, that's for sure. And I know some people do like Trump, but hey, I'm not going to take that away from them. That's up to them. Same with the guy Putin. He seems to get quite a lot of support from people in people in Scotland, people in the UK, and I can't see why. To be fair, I can kind of see why. But it wouldn't. It's not me. It's not kind of where I would put my weight, because I couldn't trust any head of state. I mean, come on. I think what's the quote again? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? Coffee, that was bloody boiling. So good to see Saladin. We're on a kind of a late shift. So, hey, I'm not going to try and put a time frame on it. It's pointless. We'll be at least a couple of hours anyway, probably. Who else did I see? Rotary motion, where did he go? Why is it doing that? There we go. Tesla was great alien. Nikola Tesla. He does look a bit like an alien, right? I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. He does look a bit alien-like when I think of it. Yeah, but yeah, if you say that, I'll take your word for it, right? I'll take your word for it. Sean in the hood as well. They're all alien. Yeah, pretty much. To us, anyway, that's for sure. Good to see Sean, Refusenick, Rotary Motion in the hood, Frankie. No such thing as aliens. The aliens are blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jerrys from Antarctica. Germans from Antarctica. How does that work? Germans from Antarctica. But Germans. Inner Earth. Yeah, I still like to kind of entertain the thought of the Inner Earth. Thinking back to maybe 2000, from about maybe 2008, 9, 10, starting to look into space, or what they called space, the universe, and what have you. And I did. It was one that I liked, the whole Admiral Byrd situation and the story, the diary. It is an interesting one and an intriguing kind of thought to entertain, but For me anyway, I don't think I could put much weight behind it, to be honest. And in terms of Admiral Byrd, I don't know. It's one of these ones where I want to believe it and kind of hope that it might be the case, but deep down I kind of can't see it. But good to see you, Frankie. I hope you're doing well. You look in the hood. You look in Joni. I hope you're doing good. And Action. Dangleberries. Where did he go? I just googled when the first UFO sighting, when the first UFO sightings in USA, and it said 1639. I wonder if that was Ulick that reported that. That's quite old. 1639. I wonder what kind of sighting it was. I wonder if it was similar to any today. Interesting. Who else did I see there? Paul's in the hood. Good to see you, Paul. Hope you're doing good, Paul and Sue. Laura's here. Good to see you, Laura. I hope you're doing well. Tonight I had to do it later. I had to go out with my youngest in the middle, my daughter, and Santa. This whole Santa thing going around the street. I don't know if you've got it. And well, it's kind of like a parade, maybe. But it's a bloody nuisance, man. So out in the freezing cold, anything to keep them happy, right? So we had to do it later. And we can blame Santa for that. So there you go. Laura in the hood, Paul in the hood. What happens in the hood? Good to see you, Jerry. Good to see you back again. Bernie over on Spacebook. Where did he go? There he goes. Saladin, Ulick. Quite a lot of comments. Paul, Justine, Saladin, James. We'll get there. 80s in the hood. And I reckon we could be on a plane. There you go. Good to see you back again. Let me see. Try and get through them as quick as I can. Oh, the beautiful Justine. Fantastic. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. JC Warlock, where did it go? There it goes. Good to see you. Back again. Justine. James in the hood. Good to see you, James. Just Kate, where did she go? Just there. Fantastic. And that brings us kind of to all of them. Did I get Jerry? I think so. And I reckon we're good. We're good in the hood. So yeah, when was I on last? It feels like the other day. So it must have been recent. And yeah, we after today. Let me think. Possibly a Friday fix next week, and then a kind of break period between Christmas and New Year. So not much probably of a break, to be honest. Not much. No rest for the wicked, right? But I'll let you know. I'll try and let you know what the score is and when I'm going to be on, if I'm not going to be on, and what have you, right? God granted, of course, that we're still not terminated, and we're still cooking by gas, and we're still going, and we do what we do, right? So good to see everyone back again. Friday once again, so hopefully a good weekend, right? It's absolute Baltic here, man. Like -4. And yeah, as more and more as winter goes by, I keep thinking, why do I stay here? like breaking into song there, breaking into a poem. I tend to think, why? Just, I don't know, bloody win the lottery. Just win the lottery and buy a, I don't know, a house in the Caribbean, or I don't know, somewhere good. It's hard to pick somewhere good when I've thought about it in the past. Not that I'd probably do it, but when it's sort of tumbled through my mind, I've kind of thought, where would I go? Answers on a postcard, right? I genuinely don't know. I remember reading a lot of people, they've went to New Zealand and Australia. Yeah, I reckon I'd probably, I mean, if I had to, I reckon I'd probably get on okay in Australia or New Zealand, I think. I do kind of worry about the heat for me. Kind of red-headed, freckled, Scottish, pale blue immigrant over in Australia. But I have got family there. I could easily get a visa or travel, no problem. But yeah, I reckon I'll be in Scotland until I know better. Until I know better, right? Indefinitely. Yeah, I've hopefully, again, God granted a lot of years yet, but yeah, I'll be staying in Scotland. But I can see why people might pick New Zealand, Australia. There's probably a few other lesser known nations that you could go and hide out, but I don't know. When I think about it as well, we've seen people in the past. I think for a case example would be, I mean, I've nothing against Mark Segan, but he did kind of was an Australian guy, born and bred, fighting in Australia. Well, at least I think fighting for the people in Australia, fighting against tyranny, kind of a leader. Some people would definitely have called him a leader, and probably still do. And going toe to toe and wakening people up and just steaming forward. I remember following Marx, and he covered the, it was Australian fires, I think. And then after that, it went a bit mental. But when he was covering it really good, and I think I'm unsure if anybody, including Marx, I can trust, but I think, yeah, something might have happened, because he appeared to be right on top of this story with the fire, exposing it. Then all of a sudden it went fucking shit hit the fan, man. And it went weird. And then we had the pandemic, and he fought against that, and then he kind of out of the blue, well, it was out of the blue, he decided that he was going to go to Mexico and stay there. And I mean, hey, it's up to the individual. Don't get me wrong. But I do kind of look at that, and I've seen other people who in the UK, they thought, well, I've had enough of the UK. And I kind of think, well, fair enough, but on the other hand, fuck you. Why are you deserting a nation, your nation? Why are you not deciding, look, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to try, I'm going to help? I mean, it might not be the correct way to, there's maybe not any correct way, but it might not be a a good way to be looking at that situation. But yeah, I kind of feel that you stay and do what you can, and you fight for your nation. But again, it all comes down to the individual. But there's been several different cases in the past, and I've got nothing against Mark Segan, but I mean, I followed Mark's going way back to maybe, I don't know, 2013, 2012, 13, 14, definitely. And yeah, good information, but I kind of lost. I kind of lost a bit of faith and trust as time went on. And hey, that's just the way life is, to be honest. So it's just the way it goes. Maybe it's because the older I get, the more I don't trust anybody. Trust no one, right? So I don't know, but you can still listen. You can still take in information from people. Find out what you can and take it with a pinch of salt and do your own research, do your own digging. Anybody else that I missed quickly before we jump in? Let me see. I think we're good to go. Oh, Scotty, there you go. In the hood, good to see you, Scotty. So the channels had a bit of bombardment from YouTube and had, I don't know, restrictions placed on it, which is quite funny. It's been a while. I remember in 2020 it was very common. Strikes, man, oh Jesus. And unbelievably, I'm still getting videos removed from 2020, 2021. They're still getting removed today. I think we've got about just under 800 videos on the YouTube. And I think there probably should be about 9 or 1,000 videos instead. So that's, I mean, I think there is videos that I've took down and also due to copyright maybe took down. But the majority of them, it's been removed by YouTube because we seemingly break the guidelines and they know better. YouTube know better than anybody. They know what you should see, what you shouldn't see. They know what's safe. They know what's not safe, right? Yeah. Sure. Why not? Good old YouTube keeping you safe. So let me see if I can work this screen. So yeah, out for hours there in the freezing cold, man. Baltic. I think I'm still defrosting. I think I'm still defrosting right now. There we go. Jesus, let me take that off a sec. My head was on the alien's head there. Alien exposed. Alien exposed, right? Maybe someone noticed. That's me disguised as a grey. Add to screen. Now let me see. That'll do. So has anybody actually seen a UFO? A UPA? Is it UPA they call them now? APU? Aerial, unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP, which is an upgrade from an OAP. I'm here all week, right? So I'm here all week. Yeah, it's been quite common. I think for decades now. year in, year out, there's always been stories, and I think they've always been kind of shunned and dismissed, like, oh, he's cuckoo. He's bumped his head, right? He was out, I don't know, cycling and bumped his head on a country road and seemingly got abducted, or seen a UFO or a UAP. Because the abductions is one that, I mean, we probably won't get into that tonight, but a lot of people in the ufology community, they'll say, well, what about the abductions? How do you explain that? And it's one of these ones where unless you can explain it, it can't be true. Like hidden weapon technology, unless you can prove it's there, it can't be true. Let me see. Why is this not working, actually? I think we're all right. We might, if we get Wi-Fi issues, give it a minute or two, and I'll probably be able to come back on. So yeah, you get a lot of people. They'll point to abductions, which I guess it's fair enough, right? It's like, yeah, that's a bit weird and strange and what have you. But again, even if these abductions are true, which they might not be, even if they're to be true, it does not mean automatically that it was carried out by what people would call extraterrestrial beings from outer space. It does not automatically mean that. But a lot of people, they'll go with it. And again, I understand that too, because it was me at one point. When I think before I even got kind of looking into space, the universe, the planets, I was already looking into clouds in the sky and sightings, potential sightings. So it's, I mean, I've been looking into it for quite a while now, and I have seen different stuff in the past, but none of it would point to or prove extraterrestrial life, even when I kind of wished that it maybe did. I still knew, well, it's not necessarily ET, right? It's more likely some government entity, the military, probably in my case anyway. So nobody's had any sightings. And it's interesting, I only mentioned the other week about drones and sightings that I've kind of seen. Not yet. Your time will come. Never seen one personally. See, I find it interesting because for years I had this thirst to see something in the sky, man, that I could deem a UFO or anything that would kind of point to maybe ET, even though it wouldn't. And I think for a long, long time, apart from the odd shooting star, absolutely not a thing, man. Not a thing. And then all of a sudden, over the past maybe 5 to 10 years, maybe 5 to 8 years, I've seen different stuff on several occasions that would be deemed, well, strange. Let's put it that way. Pretty strange and intriguing. And I talked about the drones that I've seen before because for about 6 months now, I've had quite a high-powered laser that I've took out when I'm out at night walking the dog, and I'm so I've always been looking for these these wee lights in the sky that are, it kind of looks like a star, but it's not, and it's moving, and I'm always like chasing it down, hunting it down, following it with the laser, and it's. I mean, hey, it's no more than fun and games, really. But I do kind of wonder, what the hell is it, man? If it's not, which I doubt very much, it's E.T. But what could it be? What could it possibly be? If it's not ET, I mean, it's kind of got to be a government entity, right? It's, in my view, it's got to be. I mean, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of, because I think people do kind of rule it out, the possibility of there being other beings on Earth, but actually from Earth. Kind of like a different race of human. Now, whether that's been genetically fucking done by humans or some kind of creator, I don't know. I wouldn't put weight behind it, but it's not something that I would rule out, given how much we know about the world that we're in, which of course is very, 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 very little, if anything whatsoever. But we can be, myself included, we can think that we know, but deep down, I think in reality, we're probably a million billion miles away from what the situation truly is. Because I think we, as a society, globally, across the board, we've been manipulated and led astray. Oh man, for a very, 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 very long time, to a degree where the people, the entities behind it, they've got it down to a T. Down to a T, man. It's like clockwork. And as time goes on, they seem to still even now get even better. But they build the world that we're in. And they're doing that again with the whole smart world situation. I wonder where Project Bluebeam will fit in with that. So we're moving into another, I guess you would call it a stage. Like a theatre stage. They set up the stage and they'll shift us in. They'll pretty much herd us into it. Herded up like sheep, of course. Hence the term, right? Hence the term. So a lot of the time it's what choice do you get? Because they build the system, they build the world that we're in. So you get stuck with a choice where basically you fight against it, or you don't. You try and find some kind of contentness, I guess. Either way. So for many years, including when I was a young lad, I think maybe watching E.T. Phone Home, and Alien. I think Alien, in the movie Alien in particular. I kind of grew up and wanted to. I wanted to believe, and I've actually got, and I'm a fan of the X-Files show, and I have actually got one of the the poster that Mulder's got, and it's "I want to believe," and it's got the UFO. I've actually got it. It's up in one of the big cupboards that we've got. It's not up in any frame, but I have got a big They Live and the Truman Show, but I have to get them framed still, which probably get done soon. But yeah, I've actually got the poster I want to believe. I should have got a photo. I'll put a photo on the community tab and I'll show you it. So yeah, for a long time I did kind of think, yeah, it would be great. It would be, you know, the kind of thought where people think, oh, we can't be alone. We cannot be alone. And a lot of people, they can't get over this, I don't know if it maybe scares them or, I don't know, gives them anxiety when they think, oh, we potentially probably are alone. And at least in terms of outside this realm, if you like. I guess people don't want to feel lonely. The loneliness! They can't handle the loneliness thought of it, right? And quite incredible where we are today in terms of the whole NASA space so-called exploration, the universe's theory, the comets. It's I think since maybe about in particular the year 2000 onwards, it's been rushing all in. Probably part of one bigger agenda. And I said last time, one of the last times before, the year's not even out and they appear to be sliding things like in at the last minute. Do you know, before the year gets out? And then by the time 2025 comes in, it's like, oh yeah, it's old news now. It's old news now. People are like, yeah, we're used to it now. It was happening in 2024. And I was remembering back to, in many years gone by, they've done similar. They've done similar where they'll kind of, it's like they slide it in towards the end of the year, or they'll increase it. And pretty much everything that the mainstream media do is about 90 to 95%, 90 to 98% complete and utter deception. But it's not just that it's complete lies, it's to fool people, deceive people constantly. I mean, it would be one thing that just making up a stupid story that had no meaning or anything, but it's worse than that, man. Their strings are being pulled by evil entities, man, including ones like the CIA. And when it comes down to the mainstream media, the blood in their veins, it's toxic, man. Truly toxic. It probably couldn't. It would be unfit for purpose, I'd imagine. And it's kind of fitting because the whole talk about X is the new media, and it's like, fucking hell, really? As much as, look, people should be free to share and cover whatever the fuck they want, in my own view, but when it comes down to media and journalism, I think there's training at least that needs to be. There's a few things that people need to learn in regards to journalism and not writing a story, but knowing about your sources and how to back up any information. There's a lot to learn there, man. A lot to learn, which is not obviously not today. It's not learned by fucking anybody. Because the journalism today, oh my god, man. Well, it's non-existent. It's not there. And the journalism, the so-called journalism that is, it's terrible, man. It's so bad. So we're back again. Did I miss anybody quickly? Scotty, Chilster in the hood. Good to see you, Chilster. 1 day free. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Seen plenty of old demons, but only since 2017, which is bizarre when you think about it. Why only now? Yeah, that's kind of crossed my mind. The timing. See, the way they work, the timing is key. In anything they do, timing is a very key factor. And when you get to the benefit of looking back in hindsight, you begin to see how it unfolds and why things time and consist with each other. Coincide might be the word. When they coincide with each other, you begin to see. So good to see 1 day free. Chilster, before we jump on a plane. Ross as well. Good to see you, Ross. Take care, Paul. Anybody else that I missed there? We're good to go. So we're going to look at quite a few stories, but on the same topic. And then we've got a than previously thought syndrome kind of round up, and then we'll take it from there. I think maybe 1 or 2 clips, but they're not big, so no 45-minute outros or intros, right? So are we sharing? We're good to go. Yeah, increase of action. And the year's not done yet, remember. Who knows what they could pull by even by now, and I shouldn't laugh, but even between now and Hogmanay. What is my phone doing? Could be low battery. So we're good to go. We'll jump back into the comments. Norman as well. Oh, fuck, actually. I better check. I better check if it... I think we're okay. I had to double check the charger was switched on. Hey, been there, done that, so we're on. I need to be sure though, because we're okay. I forgot I can actually check from the screen. I was kind of standing up and bending over to check, and the lights are off. I've only got the screen on because my bloody eyes. So I'm kind of like in the dark, and in more ways than one, right? In more ways than one. Let's not go there. Observer in the hood as well. Just got you there. Assad was born. Oh wow, 11 September 1965. Ain't that interesting? The guy Assad. Yeah. Funny how all that time they couldn't get rid of the guy. I think next week we'll look at that situation a wee bit more. I knew that was never, and I did say before that before this kind of unfolded, it was never out of the way. This whole Syria situation. And it feels like years ago now, that was all big news, and it looked like the guy Assad might get toppled over. But then I guess you kind of got the impression he was strong and he was doing well, right? He couldn't be toppled. He had Iran and Russia and China maybe on his side, but now it's like, what, they don't help him anymore, and now he's been toppled. I mean, what is the actual situation there? What's happened there? Is it merely simply the script that's being played out? Or did the guy get overthrown? Have the CIA? Is it a situation like Egypt or Libya? Is it all to do with the war in Russia, potential war with Iran, or what they're going to call a war anyway? I mean, there's so many different options as well, which again is not by accident, because it can be difficult to know what sources to trust and where to put your weight behind. In particular with the war scenario. I mean, honestly, it would be a dangerous game to believe fucking anybody in the way of any nation in China, Russia, America, in particular the UK, man. They would be the worst, I reckon. But I wouldn't trust any. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I'll go with gut instinct, and I'll stick with that. So good to see Observer in the hood. Apex card as well. Good to see you back again. I hope you're doing well. So we'll come back to the comments. Let me just sort. We're good to go, and we should be. It keeps telling me we've got Wi-Fi issues, but I think we're okay. Typical, right? Typical. I think, hey, I'll just keep going, and the show must go on, right? The show must go on. I'll keep going, and usually I can tell. So we are across the board. We've got people across the board tonight. Facebook and YouTube and X marks the spot for seemingly free speech. I mean, to give it a wee bit of due, it's better than YouTube and maybe even Facebook. But it's like all these things we are offered, it might be deemed the lesser of free evils, but you're still dicing with an evil entity, basically, in my view. In particular when you get down to Musk. But if you ask me, Musk is he's just a puppet as well. And we've talked about it before. These people, they're meant to have billions and billions and billions and trillions and millions and zillions. But in reality, they don't. They don't. And when it comes to Bill Gates and Elon Musk, they're puppets similar to political leaders, stretching way back probably since the beginning of fucking time. Because the older you get, the more you learn about how easy it can be to manipulate people. You see it happening to folk. And on top of that, you begin to see how many people get this. They become this person where they do manipulate folk. Sometimes more than one person. And then you get people who they probably get into the likes of organised crime. And begin to manipulate even more people. I guess a step up from that might be the government. Because they're top notch when it comes down to manipulation. That is for sure. And I think that can't be forgotten. I mean, I genuinely wish we could trust the media. I wish I could come on and say, look, there's good media out there. It can be trusted. But I'd be lying, man. It would be a complete and utter lie. We would be kidding ourselves, let's face it. In an ideal world, there should be, there should be trusted sources. And going way back to its birth, it probably would have been decent, I'd imagine. But at the end of the day, it's how they work. They'll find something that's good and weaponize it, or they'll start something on good intentions, but the end goal is not good intentions, put it that way. On a plane, I'm sitting here staring into the log fire, his log fire, and not watching chat. Fair enough, on a plane. I can't blame you. We're meant to be, I think on Sunday, we've got a log fire. Mainly because I've got papers a lot of paper that I'm just going to be burning. Incriminating evidence, right? I've got, do you know, we had like this, there was 2 wee cupboards, like part of a cabinet. And I think over the past 4 years, it's just been packed with letters and fucking leaflets and posters and letters and leaflets. Has anybody else got the cupboard or a drawer maybe? All these letters just get piled in, all the junk. Most of the junk or stuff you're unsure at the time if you want to keep it or not. But it was all paper basically. So I've got that in the stored away to sit with the kids and the wife and stargaze for a bit and break free from fucking reality. And who knows, maybe see a UFO or two. That is round about the time I'll get the laser. Excuse me. I'll get the laser and we'll see if we can follow any objects in the sky. And if you've never done that before, if you get a chance, you can get them on Amazon, shock horror. Or you'll find them online, put it that way. But you can get one and fucking... Do you know, there's been times where I've done it and I've been like, wait a minute, is that a plane? Is that a plane or is it I don't know, a drone? And my wife's been like, it might be a plane, don't shine it. Don't shine it. It might crash. And I'm like, it's hardly going to go in his eye. I mean, he's not looking at the laser, right? If anything, it would hit the bottom of the plane. It wouldn't be shining it in the fucking pilot's eye. It's not landing, right? But my wife's been like in the past, no, don't, because they might crash. Thinking like you're going to shine a laser on a plane and it's going to just fall out the sky and land. Wishful thinking, maybe, right? So yeah, I tend to get that out. That can be fun. And I think lately, in particular this year, but last year, the amount of different what they've called meteor showers and comet showers has been, I mean, I can't say for 100%, but it's been abnormally high. Well, abnormal in terms of the amount and sort of volume and frequency of it. I could be wrong, but I certainly get that feeling. But I can't say for sure. But I do tend to think, if that is the case, what might that be down to? And for years I had never seen a shooting star or anything like that. Now I've lost count. But I think as well, going back the last nearly 5 years since we moved, and we moved to an area where it's pretty much in the countryside. It's pitch black and you can fucking see the whole sky. I just need to walk so many steps out my door and I'm in a big open area and I can see the whole lot basically in all its glory. And it's a beautiful sight on a really clear night, man. I've came back with, I've seen me coming back with and sitting down and being like, oh, no way, my neck. Like massive shooting pain in my neck because the whole night I've been out. I've been looking up. I've been I've been looking up, and then you don't kind of notice it, and you don't really feel it at the time. But when you get back, it's like, oh man, Jesus, and you're like sticking your head forward for the next 10 minutes to try and like stretch out the top of your spine, basically. So that can be. It's something I've never got used to, but it tends to happen when I'm out stargazing. It's like, oh man, that's why in the back garden you can kind of in the chair recline, and you don't have to break your neck. You don't have to break your neck. So, because for many years I've always been as soon as I go out, and a lot of the time just without even thinking, I'll be looking at the clouds, what kind of aircraft's in the area. If it's at night, even possibly looking at definitely looking at where the moon should be. Can I see it? Seeing what stars that I can see. Usually when I'm out, if the wife comes out, she's got an app that will show you where the constellation is and what it is. And for I kind of thought at the start, oh, it'll be a load of shite. It won't be right. It won't be correct, right? But to be fair, it's quite spot on. It's been quite spot on at finding the moon and different constellations. To be fair to it, so that's been quite handy when we've been out. There's so many different areas right on my doorstep I can go to, and be there in a few minutes and set up a camera or the binoculars and take in. I mean, in particular, the driving range just down the road, a gigantic open space, man, big flat space, like a big flat in between loads of kind of rolling hills, and you can just you can see it all. So I like to go there. It can be a bit spooky. It can be a bit spooky. But I mean, I do at night. I'll be down in the woods and in the fields and stuff like that. And at the time, I don't really think much of it. But then sometimes when I'm walking back, I kind of think, fucking hell. Like you'll hear a noise. You'll hear a noise in the distance and think, what the heck was that? A strange scream or a weird sound, and be a bit like, right, maybe I should just keep going. So there is in the woods. My wife won't. We tend to not go there. She's not keen. But I go. I do take the torch, but I only use it when I need to. So a lot of the time, the light from the moon, is enough. Which is funny, right? Because I mean, it's like bright. It's like a certain percentage of brightness of the sun, and then and then on any of the NASA footage or anything like that, it's a different story, right? I mean, a gigantic rock that turns into a light that lights up due to the sun. Have you ever seen a rock on Earth that lights up due to the sun? I guess it maybe would reflect to a degree, actually. I guess it maybe would. But of course, you don't see that in I mean, there's no brightness or anything in the moon Apollo footage, and it's comical. No wonder people couldn't buy it, and people still don't buy it today. So here we go. The New York Times, 5 days ago, unidentified drones light up New Jersey skies, baffling residents. Dun dun dun. What could it be? E.T.? Possibly. I've already seen this. How do you know? how do you how do you know? I don't know if you have seen it. To be honest, I doubt it. I'm gonna say no. We'll put a bet on, right? We'll put money on it. Um, Flat Earth proven right or not? Gonna save Europeans. Yeah, it wouldn't save many people. Proving anything, to be honest. People need to. Yeah, that comes from the individual. Good to see James in the hood. So we'll jump back to the comments in a sec. So brightly lit against a dark night sky, the low-flying object wasn't a star. It wasn't moving like a plane or a helicopter. Ooh. Cat Dunbar spotted a strange object early one night several weeks ago. So this is several weeks ago now. Came out a few days ago, this story. So it's been rolling continuously. Even up until very recent, lately, today. And I think I've got a video on that. So maybe that's what On a Plane could be referring to. So Cat Dunbar spotted the strange object early one night several weeks ago while driving home with her children, and she was stumped. Complete shock and awe. I must admit, having seen a couple of strange objects, it is a bit like, what the? You do get taken back by it. You do get taken back. I think for me, actually, it was more confusion than any. My life story, I know. My life story, it was more the confusion, because what fucking eats away at me is the fact that, yeah, I can see it. I could document it. I could tell you about it. But never in a million years would I be able to prove what the fuck it was. And even down to what's the meteors, the comets. I mean, I genuinely not sure what I'd put my weight behind with that. Honestly, not sure. But I've seen plenty of them. In particular, the past 4 years. Astonishing amount, man. I've talked about that before. The one that I seen that, I mean, I'm calling it a comet, but I kind of feel it could have been, it could have even been something that got shot out of the sky. Honest to God. I could not rule anything out with that particular incident, but it was very strange, man. Very strange. So Kat was like, I was like, what is that? Is that a UFO? Said Miss Dunbar, a 37-year-old acupuncturist and mother of 3. And we watched it the whole way home. So a nice journey home chasing the UFO. Then she said she thought nothing more about it until earlier this week, when similar bright, large, buzzing objects began flying low over her home in Bedminster, New Jersey. They were drones, she realised. And since then, she said, they have been back every night. Usually, she and her husband, Nick, see the first drone not long after sunset. Then they keep coming, one after another, sometimes 5 or more. Something the same, following the same flight path. That's quite a lot, right? That's quite a lot to be seeing, to be recording. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, but I have sat out the back, and I've been there maybe, even in the summer just past, I've been there maybe 4 hours, probably not much longer. And I have seen several different lights in the sky that I can only call drones. I mean, I can't call them anything else. Let's face it. It's just like a star in the sky, and you catch it when you're watching stargazing. You'll see it; it'll catch your eye. You'll begin to follow it. I followed them with lasers, quite a high-powered laser in the past, and it's strange, man. It's weird. It is genuinely weird. And in my own view, it would be, if I had to choose, it would be the military. Your military, our military, for sure. That would be where I'd put my money. In the last week, it became a little bit of a menacing and like creepy thing. It started to creep people out. Yeah, that's interesting as well. I guess maybe seeing it one time and then 2 times and thinking, okay, yeah, that cool, a drone. Maybe E.T., some people might think. But then constantly, to the point where you start to think, wait a fucking minute, what the heck is that? Why do they keep coming back? And you start to think, what are they doing? What exactly are they doing? What are they collecting? Is it safe to go out? See, for me, I'm used to it here. I mean, we've got a with a military base here. Fucking hell, we've got like I don't know, 20 different planes that can carry out surveillance, and they're in the air pretty much all the time. So we're used to it, but in terms of drones, that's been relatively new. And I can say that because I've been stargazing for many years now. I mean, I have seen it in the past, going back, but not on the same volume as we see today. So there is an increase. I would put money on that, to be fair. So it kind of creeped them out, and it was menacing. Sneaky drones, right? Sneaky buggers. Miss Dunbar is not alone. Drone sightings have been reported in at least 10 New Jersey counties since mid-November. They have been spotted flying over important infrastructure. Like reservoirs, power lines, and even railroads in people's backyards and above highways. In people's backyards. I'm laughing because some of you will remember when I told you about the story with my late father, my brother, and my best friend. I think it would have been 2008, 2009. They seen a UFO, and it was hovering above the next door neighbour's house. An old lady. So it was a bit like, wait, what the heck? It was hovering above Beth's house. Poor Beth. I don't know what they done to Beth, but I think she was okay. But it was like strange, right? In people's backyards. See, flying over a military base is one thing, but actually going out their way to be spotted to the point where people are saying it was in their backyard, hovering above their backyard. You kind of get the impression, well, they're deliberately, that's not by accident, that. They know people are going to be like, oh, there's a fucking drone, it's a UFO! Quick, get the camera! They're going to be out, they're going to be putting it to the news that very day. And within a matter of fucking minutes, the technology we've got today, within within an hour, there could be a UFO a drone put out, flying about, fly over a couple of people's gardens, and within a matter of an hour's time, it'll be on the news and it'll be viral across the interweb. Pretty much instantly. Because of course they've got a system where they know how to do that. They've done it with many things in the past. They run it through the exact same work, the exact same channel, and it'll go viral. Anything that tends to go viral, 98% of the time is going viral for hidden reasons, basically. It'll either trying to get you to think a particular way, or it'll be some kind of test to see how well something might work if they do it with, say, a UFO, a war, a bomb, alien situation. They run it through the same channel. And I mean, going back to what I mentioned in the stream before, we've seen it in the pandemic. The whole world in lockstep, man. One click, and it was nation by nation bending over, taking it from the shadow entities that pull the string. And I'm deliberately saying string instead of strings, plural, because it is like one string. Let me just double check. We're still going. We're still in the hood. We're still right across the board, and we're good to go. Yeah, I need to. It's annoying, man, because I need to make sure. We're okay with the Wi-Fi. So, I mean, hey, if it goes down, it goes down. Fuck it. We'll try and come back on, and failing that, I'll put a post and we'll come back on whenever the time lets us. Yeah. So Mrs. Dunbar kind of sounds a bit like the story in relation to the one with my dad and my brother, because a couple followed that in their car as well, and it followed them. No, it never followed them. They followed it to a military base, which is like, okay. That might give you an idea, right? So she was not alone. Important infrastructure, reservoirs, power lines, railroads, in people's backyards. I wonder who, what kind of people though? In the highways, they often fly in groups and emit a loud humming noise. The bumblebee UFO. I'm sure I read someone said it sounded like an electric car. And I thought that was quite funny. Oh, it sounded like an electric car. Right. So what would that tell you then? That ET they've moved on to electric vehicles now. They've moved on. Yeah, they probably said it sounded like a Tesla. And I think it came from Mars, right? But it sounded like a Tesla. It had the Tesla logo on it. But it's ET. It might be in here, actually. We'll see that mention of an electric car. I mean, it must be a big electric car, because the ones I go by, you can't bloody hear it. You can hardly hear them, man. And that will cause severe trouble that for anybody that's out walking about. I almost got hit by an electric. I shouldn't laugh, and I mean, I've been run down before as a kid, but I nearly got hit by an electric car. And I was like, yeah, angry at the guy. I mean, I never got hit, but it was like, fucking hell. Because I think the sort of junction he was coming out, he should have been maybe beeping his horn to let people know. Do you know, like if you're coming out of a tunnel where it's maybe got an awkward corner, you'll maybe beep your horn if you're, I guess, sensible. You'll beep your horn so people know you're coming, but none of that, man. And I was shocked because I could not hear a thing. And I was right out in front of it, and fucking there it was, putting on its brakes. I mean, I don't think it would have been bad. It wasn't like going at a very fast speed, but it would have been enough for me to I guess maybe slap the guy about. It'd have been enough for that, and then I'd have slapped him about and apologised. In a mad fit of rage. But yeah, I'd been run down before as a I think I was 6 at the time. So kind of been there, done that. Not by an electric car, mind you. So, yeah, there you go. There, Miss Dunbar 39 described as similar to the sound made by by electric cars. The drones appear to be significantly larger than those widely available by hobbyists. Yeah, because I mean, I've seen people out flying wee drones, right? I've seen that. And they're teeny wee. That's what it sounds like. It's like wee, like I don't know, a mosquito. Yeah, a kind of mosquito on steroids, maybe. Let's not give them ideas, right? So I've seen them. I've flown one before. I have kind of toyed with the idea of getting a drone for quite a few years, to be honest. But I have flown one before, and that was pretty cool. I think I actually ended up crashing it. If I remember correctly. Ended up crashing it, so a lot to learn probably. But that was my first time using a drone. It was the only time actually. But it's crossed my mind to get maybe some decent footage, because some of the geographical layout here it's incredible, man. It would be good captured by a drone, like a bird's eye view. So I've seen them and I've heard them. I've been out when people have been flying them, and you do kind of think, fucking better not put that anywhere near me. It'll be getting snapped into a million bits, right? So I kind of get the noise, but it's interesting for it to be compared to an electric car. State leaders and elected officials have said the drones do not pose any threat to the public. So the officials in America, the government, they've came out and said, well, it doesn't pose any threat. Well, it does though, because the lady said she was a bit worried about it. So it is a fucking threat. Not to mention that, say it falls out the sky and lands on a house, someone fucking dies. Or it goes on fire and people die. I mean, is that not a possibility? How can this be deemed not a threat? It's a flying object that, going by the narrative, nobody knows what it is. But it's not a threat, so what, we just avoid it and pretend like it's not even there? I mean, there's clearly an agenda at work here. Clearly, man. And already, it's kind of like instant. They come out with different theories and trying to put across reasoning as to what it might be, but probably not actually what it is. So I don't know how America and all of its kind of military and government might can sit back and just kind of let this happen. I mean, there was a fucking balloon that got shot down. I suppose that took about a week and they missed it as well on the first attempt. But they got it second time round. But I mean, I don't... hey, if I stayed in America, I'd be trying to shoot it down myself. To be honest, if it was flying, if I was in America and armed to the like Terminator, I wouldn't hesitate to take a pop at it. Especially when the government have came out and said, well, it's not us. Kind of gives you they've kind of opened the door to anybody to think, right, actually, maybe we should take a go at it and see if we can shoot it down. I mean, there is a incident which happened very recent, so maybe that's already happened. Are we going to have a Roswell situation before the year's even out? They just right on at the very end of the year, they're just pushing in this new Roswell where they've shot down a what people might call a UFO, and of course they'll come out. It was a weather balloon. It was a weather balloon, right? Well, I mean, they had. How long did they? It felt like a week or 2 weeks. This weather balloon. It was unknown what it was, and it seemed to be carrying some kind of equipment. And I mean, how could that not have been deemed a threat? Of course, should have been instantly deemed a threat, and it should have been, in my view, it would have been dealt with. In an ideal scenario, it would have been dealt with efficiently, quickly, and fucking nipped on the bud as soon as it was noticed. But it's never, even in the short space of time of this year, that's never the case. It never goes down the way it probably should. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of direction they're going to take this in. Is it going to be a kind of another part of the whole conditioning scenario and simmer down and move on to the next one? Or is there more to come from it yet? But they have yet to provide any information about who might be operating them or why. So again, they're coming out and saying, look, it's not a threat, but we don't fucking have a clue who it is. But in reality, it is a threat. People are a bit worried about it. It could potentially fall down to the ground. But they're saying it's not a threat. They're saying they don't know what it might be. But is that true? Would you believe that? They're telling us, well, we don't know what it is. I mean, come on. Are you joking? Again, with all the might of the American intelligence network, the CIA, the FBI, the military, all the spies and the connections to MI6, what, they don't have a clue? They don't have a clue. I find that I just could not buy that. I could not buy that. In my own view, they know. They won't tell us, shock horror. They won't tell us. Let me double check. We're all good in the hood quickly. There's Toffee. Good to see you, Toffee, in the hood. Yeah, I think I think if I remember correctly, I did know that would be the case. Notifications probably wouldn't go out because, as far as I remember, YouTube said they only put out notifications for free videos in 24 hours, and I think this might be the fourth video. So, if that is correct, then people might not have got notifications, but they can come and watch whenever they've got the time. It's all good in the hood, but it's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. And it's good to see you've not been abducted. Because the UK seems to be getting mentioned as well. And I've certainly seen drone objects in this area. Heavy, gigantic military presence here. Enormous, man. Like the town, the could I call it a village? It's like quite a big village. Next to me and where the camp is based, it's pretty much all the population there is military. And next to, about a mile away from that, there was a military base. So we had a RAF base, Royal Air Force base, and a military army base. And of course, they fight with each other on the battlefield. Well, they help each other on the battlefield, but they fight when they're home. They fight each other when they're home. And kind of in the middle of these two camps, you've got this town of Elgin. And so what happens here is the military and the Royal Air Force, they go out on a night out and tend to... It's got a bit heated in the past. Usually they'll be fighting rather than with each other, the locals. It'll be the locals that are causing trouble. At least in my day, that was the case. To be honest, it might be different today. But I know the RAF and the military did tend to scrap quite a bit. Which, yeah, I guess it might be seen as a competitive kind of thing to do. But I think when you get right down to it, they might fight in the club or the pub, but they fight for the same entity when they're out on the field in the theatre of war. And the question would be who really pulls the strings there, because I doubt very much it's the British government that's got any control over the British military. None, man. So in the last few weeks, the US Navy said small unmanned aerial systems had been seen flying near or above 4 military bases used by the United States in Britain. So over the last few weeks, objects flying over military bases that are being used by the United States in Britain. So I wonder if they're referring to the one that's next, right on my doorstep. Are they referring to the drones that I told you about a couple of weeks ago that I've mentioned, I've been following? I mean, where's that all gonna go? I genuinely don't know. They're putting different theories out there, but there's definitely something to it. And now it's happening in America, and they're telling us, well, we already know it's happening here because I've mentioned it. And it tends to be in or around this military area. So Pentagon officials said they were taking the report seriously, but that they did not present any significant mission impact. Any significant mission impact? What? I'm unsure what what exactly he means by that, but we might come back to that. Yeah, any significant mission impact? I guess I think he would be referring to any training at bases or operations that are going on. But I mean, how could that be true? It's the fucking military. They watch pretty much everyone and everything and constantly gather intelligence round their own backyard and much further afield. Fuck me, they could probably tell you what some guy's doing in Afghanistan, what he had for his dinner. But they can't tell you what a drone is that's flying around outside their own fucking backyard. Come on. They're lying, man. They're not. Well, I mean, the media, to be fair, the media, as much as I hate them, they'll simply be echoing what is being told to them by the state. So they're just the messenger, really. But the state, we'll call it that, they're talking from their behind, right? And that's coming from me. That's coming from me. And I know you could say, look, you wouldn't believe them if they told you the time in a Colosseum full of clocks. And that is probably true, to be fair. But going by the history of these entities, whatever they tell you, the reality is probably 100 million miles away from that. And that's just how they work. Is it the same? You could say, is it the same with everything that they do? In my own personal view, it will be the same. It will be. There is, I guess you could call it rhyme and reason behind pretty much every single thing they put out. Rhyme and reason. Not a good one, though. Not even a good rhyme. A terrible rhyme and terrible reason. But they'll have their reason. And it's usually always connected to a wider plan. And it's all part of, again, using the analogy I've used before, part of this ship in a bottle where it's been pulled slowly but surely. They're pulling this string and up pops this gigantic structure. Somehow out of nowhere as well. Hardly noticeable to a lot of people. But it's beginning to be seen in its true might, if you like. More and more. And that's, I guess, why a lot of people say today, look, the veil is coming down. And some say, well, it's not that it's been hidden, it's just more frequent today in terms of stuff they pull. For me, yeah, probably both of them, to be honest. I think it's more frequent, and I think it's more blatant today. I think it's a lot more blatant. But again, you do kind of begin to see it a bit more over time. But how these days, I genuinely don't know how anybody can believe anything that's said by a military entity. I mean, look at the Iraq and Afghanistan situation. Any of the so-called war situations, poor innocent people that have to die, the Iraqis, the Afghanistanis, people from here, people from America, Canada, Ireland, France, Italy, Europe, you name it. Right across the board, man, killed, but for what? I mean, the figures are debatable, but I reckon by now you would be quite an eye-watering number. of needless deaths, in my view, that have occurred. And that goes for anybody that's suffered, because we're all suffering under the hand of tyranny, each and all to your own sort of degree. But we're all under the umbrella of the current structure that seems to kind of manipulate and orchestrate our reality. And again, like I've mentioned before, a lot of that comes down to, some people call it mass mind control, but it's even a lot simpler than that. They create a reality which makes people react and behave in a certain way. That's all they have to do. And they've been doing that for decades. And it's now a big industry, a gigantic industry. And some people call it behavioural science. And they put out certain information constantly, continually, to try and get you to think a certain way. I think the media is probably the biggest outlet with that. But it could be everywhere, and it's probably everywhere. It's probably in places you would least expect it. And I think they've started to do that again with certain other things that people might not be willing to have, let's say, in a medical sense. Well, don't worry, we'll put it in something where you won't even notice that you're getting it. Hip hip hooray! We are not worthy, right? I guess it's a bit like if you had a herd of sheep or cattle, dairy cows maybe, and there was a form of treatment that was seemingly going to help them, and you had, say, 100,000 cattle, and you can get this treatment in a form where you can basically a powder form, and you can put it in water, and like what's that tablet you put it in and it dissolves in the water? Cocodamol, maybe? I'm thinking that's like a big tablet. I mean, even the sight of that freaks me out, man. This gigantic tablet is like, what the heck? So you can get that. And they all drink in the same trough. And that they're going to be drinking. They're all going to drink. So you put it in the water and let them drink until their heart's content. I mean, it would be a simple way. So it could be that easy. It genuinely could be that easy. So we're up against it. We are up against it. I know a lot of people, in terms of different water sources, they'll boil it, they'll filter it. I think my dad went through a period of boiling water that he then drank later. I'm sure he did. And if I remember correctly, his health did improve. In particular, his eyesight got better. But he was drinking, I think it was like 6 pints a day of water. And I always remember thinking, fucking hell, in the fridge being full of these containers and pint glasses of water that's cooling down. It might have been more than 6. Part of me thinks it might have been 9. But honest, that's no word of a lie. For about a year maybe, or 2, my dad must have read it somewhere, knowing him in some weird column in a magazine. But he had heard that drinking so much water a day could help improve bad eyesight and overall health, basically. This would have been maybe late 1990s, 98, 7 maybe. So he went ahead and done it, and yeah, if I remember correctly, his health did improve. Was that down to just simply drinking water? Did boiling it play a part in that? I don't know. But I think he definitely, his eyesight improved. And his doctor had said to him before that, look, I think they called it salt, basically, a build up of salt behind your eye that would give you sore eyes and bad eyesight. And there was no way to get rid of it, and there was nothing that could be done. There was no operation or anything like that. You just got to live with it, right? Big pharma, typical. Or here, take this. It might help, but it might make it worse. Sorry, off you go. So he done that, and his eyesight seemingly did get better. And I believe I would take his word for it. His eyesight got better, and he was a lot healthier. He lost weight, and thinking back, he was maybe even happier as a person due to having better health, and I guess the feeling of your eyes being improving, your eyesight, that would be quite a good feeling, that, right? But yeah, I don't know, because that's something that crosses my mind quite a lot, because for me, I'd hardly drink any water, and a lot of times I think I really should drink more. I tend to drink it when, I don't know, my body almost tells me, look, you need to drink water. Put the coffee down, put the tea down, put the coffee down, get yourself a nice glass of cold water and drink that. But it's like every now and then, I would never be anywhere near drinking like a litre a day or even a couple of litres a week, to be honest. And I seem to get by all right. Probably not the healthiest, but I tend to just drink it when I feel like I can't. I mean, I do see people quite a lot. They're out there and they're drinking bottles of water constantly. Even the smart water. Fucking, where does it end, man? Smart water. What the heck? Have you seen that? People drinking that? The bottles of smart water. It's like, come on, man. Fucking hell. Honestly. If there's anything that could put me off drinking a bottle of water, it's putting the word fucking smart on it. I see that more and more. That seems to be on the increase as well. I don't know if it's maybe just something I'm noticing here, but yeah, it seems to be more and more people have got this bottled water mentality. The whole fitness thing, that's always a big kind of draw to a lot of people. Oh, mega fit, mega fit. Which is probably, yeah, it's good, but I do feel a lot of people, once they start doing it for decades, they're kind of running themselves into the ground. Hey, you die if you do, you die if you don't, right? So you do what makes you happy, I guess. You do what makes you happy, you keep going. So where did we get to there? So the drones feel more like an oddity and a nuisance than a threat. Yeah, I would have to call it a threat, I'm afraid. Put it this way, right? If I was the head of the military in the UK and this situation was going on, I would be deeming that a fucking potentially serious threat to people. It's like the military don't even care about people. Oh, that's not a threat. We don't know. Fucking no one's got a clue who it is. Quite funny, actually. We had to look and nobody's got a clue. Someone said it was Bin Laden, but it's not. There's nothing to worry about. Sit down. Totally no conditioning going on here. It's not a scripted agenda. It's simply just a drone in the sky. Sit down. Nothing to worry about. But people are going to be noticing, right? And the amount of people with the video camera, the amount of vloggers and what have you, and again, going back to how instant you can send information across the fucking whole world, it's going to be, there's ways they use us to play into their hands, and a lot of the time we can walk right into it. The doting sheeple, right? The doting sheeple digging their own grave. I shouldn't laugh, but that's about it in a kind of nutshell. Still, the family is on edge, unnerved by the nightly mystery. So every night, I'd be taking a shot at it if I stayed in America. Maybe because we don't get to have any weapons here to that caliber. I'd be like this mad redneck, out with a shotgun. Out with a shotgun. I'll tell you what I probably would do. I would be up for getting a drone and trying to chase it or get up to it. I mean, some of them don't look a million miles away. They don't look a million miles away. Could a shop drone reach it? Maybe. Okay, it might not be the same size, but you could get a camera up to it and check it out. I mean, someone's got to have a decent drone in that area that could fly it up and give it a square go. Give it a square go, right? See if it's got a wee fucking Russian flag on it. Because, of course, that's been thrown into the mix now. Because it's got to a point where, well, who are they going to blame? What kind of, what's the word, alibi are we going to get while they cover the true nature of the events that are unfolding? The true rhyme and reasoning behind it. We get fed complete and utter nonsense. Like an alibi. And probably 100% of the time not true. In my own personal opinion, at least. So yeah, not unnerved, but yeah, I would say they seem a bit worried about it. So they wonder when or if the flyovers will end. So not even an end in sight. I mean, get the feeling people should be saying, look, fucking sort it out, man. Shoot it down. Capture it in a fucking net or something, right? Shoot something at it, like, I don't know, like a harpoon gun. And get it hooked and pull it down. Pull it down and check it out, right? I mean, how long would it take for a military like that to react? What sort of time frame should they be reacting to this situation? Especially when they're saying they don't know what it is or what it could be potentially capable of doing. Because the bottom line, going by the narrative and what they tell us, it could be anything whatsoever. It could be a threat. It could be a serious threat. So what kind of military would you be if you just, fuck it, hey, it doesn't matter. Enjoy the show, wee, look at the lights, hooray! And it's happened not once, not twice, but now on several nights, and people are beginning to think, wait a minute here. I don't like this. I don't like what's going on. I feel a bit uneasy. When's it going to end? What are they doing? So your mind starts to, over time, begin to get suspicious and ask questions like, what actually is going on here? What's it really about? Anybody want to take a pop at that? Quote, the thing that really feels unsettling is just like Is this always going to be like this? Close quote. Yeah. I guess that could be a kind of daunting thought. Again, for me, we're pretty used to it here. Like living on an airport. But if you're not, you would probably think, fuck, when is this going to end? Is this going to go on forever? But I think more worryingly would be, what the hell are they doing? Miss Dunbar said, adding that she feared for her family's privacy, not knowing what surveillance capabilities the drones might have. Fair point. Quote, I'm not a conspiracist by any means. A conspiracist? I'm not a conspiracist by any means. What, she conspires? A conspiracist? Yeah. Interesting. I'm not a conspiracist by any means, she said, but I don't love the idea of massive drones patrolling where I live. Well, you might want to get used to it. You might want to get used to that. Because going by the amount of Starlink, OneWeb, and other companies that plan on putting thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of these so-called satellites into the sky that basically look like drones, and they will be low, a lot lower than they are today. You'll be worried then, man, Mrs. Dunbar. So, okay, you're not a conspiracist, but at the end of the day, your military, your government should be nipping it on the bud, man. They should be sorting it out. They should be sorting it out as quick as they can, but they're just like sitting on their hands doing that. Oh, there's nothing to worry about. It's okay. Sit down. Don't talk. Just take it all in. Listen to the BBC, CNN, fucking ITV, you name it. I mean, there's got to be something going on. But she's not a conspiracist, okay? Daily Mail 3 days ago. Mysterious drones are changing time on clocks in New Jersey as locals fear they're being targeted. 3 days ago. So now they are causing a nuisance. What, they're changing the clocks on cars, seemingly. So people are being targeted, is one claim. And if that is the case, I mean, come on. If this is to be believed, then they're clearly wanting people to clock them, if you pardon the pun. They're wanting to be clocked. There's nothing secret about it. Oh, it's surveillance. Fucking surveillance! It's like an elephant in the sky. Surveillance. Come on. You could make a drone the size of a fucking bean. A bean, man. Well, not a bean man, but an actual bean. I mean, not that I can say I've seen one, but I'd imagine they could, given the tech they've got today. Yet we've got a camper van flying about. A camper van in the sky with big fucking lights on it, humming about. And some people think that it's Russian surveillance, and it's actually been. We will get to it, but there is theories put forward. One of them is not as far out there, I guess, as some of them might be. But there's many different theories on it. Many different theories. Which again is not by accident. We're fumbling around in the dark. Oh, what could it be? And us being us, we tend to get not very far. Well, me. You might be a bit different. A lot of people smarter than me. Proper bigging myself up now. So yeah, they've been targeted. The family, to expand on it, the family of Morris County locals said they were following one of these seemingly terrestrial UFOs. Seemingly terrestrial. Wait, what? Why is it terrestrial? Why is it ET before you know what it is? ET. Oh, it's terrestrial, extraterrestrial. In their vehicle, only to experience the odd effect on their car's electronics and as the unexplained craft hovered above them. ET wanting to know what the time is. The clock in their car changed time. Yeah, I think clocks change time. Is that not what a clock is? Does a clock ever stop? No, I think it changes constantly. So it changed time. I mean, if this is to be believed, that would be quite an experience, right? It was 9 o'clock a minute ago. Now it's fucking 12 o'clock in the space of what, a minute? Actually, come to think of it, that happened in an episode of the X-Files. It was one of the very early ones. And what happened was Mulder was in his car and he was heading to an area that was seemingly, I think there was a UFO or alien activity. And when he drives by the area, the radio starts playing up, and then the clock on his car changed. And he only noticed it a wee bit later. That was in the X-Files. So you've got straight out the X-Files. You've got a story straight out of the X-Files here. X-Files is I would say probably a big fan, to be honest. And the whole alien UFO, it's always there in the background in the series of X-Files throughout. It's like hovering. Even though it might be about, I don't know, a time traveler, a kind of mind control individual, but there's still this continuous narrative about aliens and UFOs and extraterrestrial life. But yeah, I can guarantee you that this happened on a episode of X-Files. Shock horror, right? So the clock in the car changed time, according to one Fox News reporter who spoke to the unnamed family. It wasn't Mulder and Scully, was it? They say the clock went back to normal after they drove off. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming it's a digital electric clock, rather than maybe your old fucking Ford Capri clocks that you might have got that you punched in or winded. So could a drone cause an electrical interference? Probably, yeah, to be honest. I would say that could happen, but again, it wouldn't prove ET. It would prove someone being an absolute dick. And when it first started being talked about, I kind of thought it's probably some people with, I don't know, maybe they've got like 4 drones and put them together, or 5 drones and put them together, and made it look a bit like a gigantic drone. But now I'm a bit more like, well, I think it's actually part of a military operation from probably America and the UK. But it's the hidden hand, because they're the ones who pull the strings with the military. The register one day ago, aliens, spy balloons or drones, ? SUV-sized. An SUV-sized mystery object spotted in US skies. And they sounded like an electric car. And they're being described as an SUV. Spy balloons, alien spy balloons or drones. That's your whack on what it might be. Spy balloons would be, if I had to pick out of that, it would be spy balloon. But not all the Chinese weather balloon. Not them. The NASA American drone balloon. That would be a lot closer to home than I think people would like to imagine. Whether or not we get the truth on that, that's another story. I doubt it very much, to be honest. So that's the kind of theories that are being thrown about. The Times one day ago, Pentagon responds to theory about mysterious drones over the US. So within a couple of days, like going over the past week, within a couple of days, they've had people reporting it. It's being spotted here, there, and everywhere. Dotted about. The UK got mentioned. Then people are beginning to ask questions. It wasn't one night, it was two, it was three. More and more people recording it. More and more people saying, "What the is going on?" So I would probably imagine people phoning the police to say, "Look, what the heck is going on here?" I mean, it was bound to be reported, right? Although in saying that, I probably wouldn't report it. Fucking the police here, you'd be wasting your time phoning them about a UFO. They would laugh at you, man. They would laugh at you. So you would be wasting your time here. In fact, you're wasting your time phoning the police with fucking anything here. The best thing here is to get it dealt with yourself, and then you'll know it's dealt with. They're hopeless here, man. But I'd imagine it got reported quite a bit. So, in a kind of short space of time after that, the Pentagon, the good old Pentagon, had to come out and make a statement. Quiet now, the Pentagon is talking. So they came out, and of course, yeah, you can always take their word you can take their word as gospel, right? The Pentagon has been forced to deny that Iran is commanding a mothership flying drones over the east coast of the US after a member of Congress said he had intelligence that Tehran was behind unexplained sightings in recent days. Right. So now we've got an American official coming out and saying, "Oh, it's Iran that are doing it." And I mean, it was pretty obvious going back to when this first broke. It was only a matter of time, right? When are they going to blame Iran? When are they going to say, "Oh, Putin done it"? I mean, they're so predictable as well. So predictable, man. So that's coming from it originates from a member of the Congress. And he's received intelligence. Well, where's he got that from? Where did he get it? The BBC? CNN? Jeff Van Drew, a Republican representative from New Jersey, claimed on Wednesday that the Islamic Republic stationed a, quote, mother ship, close quote, on the eastern coast a month ago, using it as a base from which to launch Her children drones. The swarm. The herd. Yeah, I think you'd call it a swarm, right? Would I believe that? Probably not. Could I rule it out? Maybe not. But if it is Iranian controlled drones, how the American government can come out and say they don't know what it is complete and utter bullshit. Complete nonsense, man. So there you've got the head of the an entity from the Pentagon coming out and just straight up talking a load of complete and utter nonsense to people. Shock horror, right? Yeah. Imagine the shock. The complete shock. A mothership. The Independent 21 hours ago, Iranian vessel, drone or UFO, mystery over bizarre lights spotted in skies over New Jersey. Yeah, it's a complete mystery. We need Scooby in the gang. Most but not all of the drones spotted in New Jersey were larger than those typically used again by hobbyists, with reports claiming some are the size of an SUV. Look, Volkswagen. Oh, look, there's a Ford. Oh, look, there's a Transit. Just floating past in the sky. And again, here we've got one of these situations where they'll liken it to something that you know well. They do that with space related stuff quite a lot. Oh, we'll call it this. Oh, we'll call it the Milky Way or the donut. Oh, they always tend to use a name that sucks people in. And of course, when it comes to UFOs, you noticed, and I've mentioned before, what they did was they changed the word. It's all about the wording as well. They changed from UFO to UAP and began to distance this whole alien UFO craft situation from the conspiratorial redneck shooting his shotgun at the fucking spaceship in the sky, or I don't know, the crackhead who thought he got abducted. So they break free from all that UFO kind of conditioning that we've went through for decades, and they're moving into the more kind of complicated and real, if you like, what they now refer to as UAP, like giving it its professional name, making it more, I guess, scientific. Oh, it's not UFO, it's UAP, right? But that's what they've done. They've broke free. They've tried to break away free, which was probably a clear sign that if there's to be anything in the way of a Project Bluebeam, the wheels are in motion. The wheels are truly in motion. Guaranteed. I think the evidence for that is there. And none of this is by accident in any way. So, US Army General Darrell Williams described a situation that mirrors what has unfolded at American NATO bases across Europe that are known to supply Ukraine arms to Ukraine. Right. So you can see where that's going. You can see where that's going, right? Ukraine, And retired police lieutenant and intelligence analyst Tim McMillan told DailyMail.com that the descriptions of the UFOs in Jersey sound exactly like Russian Orlan 10 drones, secretive craft that fly in packs of 3 to 5. Orlan 10 drones, secretive craft that fly in packs of 3 to 5. Russian drones. That one's a wee bit more believable than Tehran, Iran. A wee bit. These experts suggest that Russia could be carrying out an intelligence gathering mission known as ferreting. They're ferreting. Meant to intentionally trigger and test their foreign rivals' airspace defence procedures and response time. Yeah. I kind of think no, but it's certainly a more believable theory than, I guess, ET or Tehran. But my number one would be US or UK. But I guess, yeah, if they are escalating the war scenario, it might well come to light that it's actually Russian controlled. What kind of can of worms would that open? I'm unsure. But I can't help but think they would know. They know what it is, man. But they're simply not telling the American or the public what it is. And in time, they wouldn't even come out and say, look, we're sorry. They would just come out and say, look, it was for your own benefit. Like they're your fucking guardian or parent. Oh, well, it was for American safety because the agenda is always priority over the people. Because there's a gigantic illusion in the world that we're in. A gigantic illusion. And you grow up kind of thinking that people have a say and control how society goes down. We don't. We should. Too right, we should. But in reality, we don't, man. We don't. In an ideal world, we should. And we should be, in my own view, and I mean, we all kind of fail at it to a degree, but we should be pushing back more and more, man. More and more and harder as best as we can. To say, look, we're done with it. We've had enough of the constant lies, the constant deception, the people that are dying for no reason. No good reason. So that I mean, I wouldn't put 100% of my weight behind it, but that's kind of one. Yeah, I could maybe at a bit of a push. I could maybe buy it. The Orlan 10 craft comes with standard positional lighting, a red light on the left port wingtip, a green light on the right starboard wingtip, and white tail lights similar to the lights seen in ordinary aircraft. And Jersey's mysterious drones. Yeah, I think it did look a wee bit like that. Some of them, anyway, looked a bit like that. But I guess a lot of them would kind of look the same, right, in the way they're built. So I'm unsure. We'll keep that in mind. It's been ongoing. If we go back to 1 month ago, and I mean, you could go back probably now, you could probably go back the past, in particular since 2020. It's been on the increase constantly, man. And the repetition it's consistent throughout. Week in, week out, another story here. The Pentagon this, the Navy that, intelligence this, UFO, UAP, aliens. 1 month ago, AP News. New Pentagon report on UFOs includes hundreds of new incidents, but no evidence of aliens. Wah, wah, Wah. And of course, the Pentagon, they're the good guys. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I take that back. There is no good guys, right? You're looking at them. Look on the mirror, you'll see. And again, Sky News 1 month ago, UFO hearing. So they had this big hearing, like making it all official and professional. Like, you need to begin to take We Green Men serious now. It's no longer for a comedy show or the X-Files. It's going to be on the news. It's going to be on the news series. I think there's different actors they've got as well. The guy that looks like a fucking alien. Not Tesla. Fuck, what's his name? Stephen Greer. Stephen Greer. Is that his name? And of course, on top of him, you've got the guy Bob Lazar, a state actor. If there was ever one, man, I don't know. I honestly don't know how anybody can buy a word that guy says. I would advise, if you want to know about Bob Lazar, look at his interview that he done, his latest from a while ago. He was interviewed by the buffoon Joe Rogan. And it was like, fucking hell, man. He was struggling. He was genuinely Bob Lazar. He was struggling to remember things that he had said in the past and claiming that, oh, I've got a sore head. Oh, I don't feel well. Oh, people don't like me. Maybe fucking blah. It's like, fuck you. And the fool fucking Joe Rogan gave him like, treated him like a baby. Oh, so come here and put him on his lap and fucking sung him a wee lullaby. Oh, there, Joe, wee Joe, baby Joe. And it's like, when I think back to that, and I think of the time that the guy Bart Sibrel got, it was like chalk and cheese. So the guy, Bob Lazar, he gets an easy ride. Like, yeah, on you go, say what, not questioned on anything. Never playing the devil's advocate or steel manning. But when it came to Bart Sibrel, nope, devil's advocate the whole time, steel manning, every single thing that he said. And you never had Bart go, oh, I've got a sore head. Oh, I don't feel well. Honestly, what an absolute shite bag of a man that guy Bob Lazar is. I kind of feel they've got a lot of dirt on Bob Lazar. What it is, I don't know. I'd be assuming. I'm assuming anyway, to be honest. But I feel they've got him because, again, I get the impression similar to Apollo 11 astronauts. You got this impression they did not want to be there, but they had to be there. They never had a choice. They were, I guess you could say, blackmailed and bribed. Look, you do it or you're finished. And I reckon that's what they had on Bob Lazar. And on the guy Bob Lazar, I done a kind of deep dive into him, which sounds a bit fucking weird. Insert joke, right? We looked at him, and I looked into him quite extensively because he was a guy I knew about going back to when I kind of early days looking into UFOs and Earth and space, if you like. So I'd came across Bob Lazar. I've never believed him. I've always thought, nah, he's grifting, man. But I think it's more than that. I think he's not got a choice in the matter. He's got to do it. And quite some interesting stuff about Bob. It was quite a good stream. We did look at the history behind Bob, what he was doing, and it turned out he was kind of like the original Epstein, because Bob Lazar, he stayed in Las Vegas, and when he was there, he owned a business called the Honey Trap. I'm sure it was the Honey Trap. Or the Honey Shack, that's what it was called, the Honey Shack. But I was calling it the Honey Trap, because that's what it was. That's what it was. It was similar to Epstein's setup, where people would go there and it would be like a brothel, a massage parlor, and everything else you can imagine. But seemingly, and this detail is out there. There was like different cameras in the rooms that can record. And I thought, I wonder if Bob was like an Epstein, but in the kind of scientific-y, spacey side of things, rather than the entertainment industry. Do you know how they've probably got? Well, they had Epstein, and he seemed to be in all the movies and the music industry, getting people in, getting dirt on them. People probably being bribed and blackmailed. Maybe even not knowing what they were walking into to begin with, and then by the end of the night, they're signing a contract. They're signing their life away. Some of them probably deservedly so. And I got this impression that's what Bob came across. But on top of that, I began to realise, Bob is an agendas man. He's not a guy that can be trusted. I mean, he was like the original Epstein. I shit you not, man. People were going there and they're like MPs and stuff like that, and I think different scientists. When was that again? I think maybe 60s and 70s. I think maybe 60s or 70s. It was before he came out with the whole UFO stuff. And because I'm going to have to look at them dates again, because I wonder if any of the NASA department paid a visit. Because we know one of them paid, well, he was regular on what's the name of the flight? The Epstein flight again? Latoya? Letitia? Lyota? Fucking some name, I can't remember exactly. But there was a name that appeared, was the guy John Glenn. John Glenn? The first American astronaut seemingly to go into space. I think Earth. I don't think even an orbit. I think just into space. John Glenn, man. And I thought, wow, that is interesting. And as times went on, I've kind of thought maybe a lot of them, Apollo in particular, astronauts, were of similar. What's the word? Were of similar taste to the potential taste of John Glenn, given that he was on this flight quite a lot, to the point where the flight's pilot, I guess the captain, he knew John Glenn, and it was him that came out and said, yeah, John Glenn was regular. Is it like, let me see, Latoya, Lolita? Is that what it would be? Justine, Toffee. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. But knowing me, I can hardly pronounce my own fucking name. But yeah, John Glenn, man. And it was, when you look at the different names on the list, regardless of what you might think, they come from many different sectors. Stock exchange, all different kinds of big business, entertainment, politicians, you name it. And when you see that these names together, it gives you a bit of an idea as to the kind of control these entities have got. They've got all these people working for them, got them in their pocket. People that a lot of the time they've got no option. Either they get taken out or they perform how they're told to perform. It does. It was a big eye. Even for me, it was like fucking him as well, him as well, him as well. Royals, politicians, strange kind of. I think like even doctors, dentists, surgeons, and I think most common would be the kind of big celebrities as well. But it was a lot more than that. Quite incredible when you see it for what it is. So that it's been months, many months in the making. Going back to this was quite interesting. Going back to March 2024, 8th of March, BBC. US says UFO sightings likely, secret military tests. With a picture of the Pentagon. But fast forward to today. They don't know what it. We've not got an idea scratching their head. Oh, we don't know what it is. Not got a clue. But there's nothing to worry about. Hey, just enjoy the show, right? I honestly, I find it baffling how they can say there's nothing, there's no threat, there's nothing to worry about whatsoever. That's very strange in my. It does not sit well with me, that. So it's actually in reference to a spike in UFO sightings in the 1950s and 60s was caused by tests of advanced US spy planes and space technology. A Pentagon report has concluded. So 1950s, 1960s, the whole space race program, the whole space race, the Cold War sort of scenario, UFO sightings, and some of them are quite funny when you look at the pictures, and what you begin to notice if you compare, and I think there might even be a meme that goes about, if you compare UFO sightings of UFOs to the vehicles of that day, of that age, there's like a similarity. So the 60s UFOs are more like the retro 60s cars, but today's UFOs are more like your Teslas and your, I don't know, fucking Ford Taurus, top of the range. Now, what does that tell you? Would that tell you that it was, oh, it's from Mars, right? Oh, it came from fucking Uranus. It's from Pluto. No, it's from Earth, clearly. It's clearly been, not just, I mean, it's been made here, right? And because we've got the benefit of time to look back on, I think that's pretty clear. So officials also said there was, quote, no evidence, close quote, that the US government had encountered alien life. Most sightings of UFOs were ordinarily objects from Earth. Most sightings were ordinarily objects from Earth. Would you believe that? And the Pentagon even coming out and saying that. But now they're a bit like, oh, we don't know. We haven't got a clue. Okay. So most objects from Earth, I think all of them, let's be honest, according to the report submitted to Congress on Friday. And again, this came out at the start of the year. And hey, I've said it many times in the past. There's like one rule that in this situation, I live by it. I stand by it. And it goes like, if it's from... No, I fucked it up already. I messed it up. My big moment. If you see it on Earth, it is from Earth. Rule number 1, right? If you see it here, it's from here. I live by that, man. I live by it. Look, if you see it in Uranus, if you see it in Mars or Pluto, then yeah, you might have a bit of a point, a fair point. But if you see it on Earth or in the sea, if you like, well, come on. It's from Earth, right? It's been made here, man. Again, the issue is a lot of people tend to think they know the fucking Earth inside out. They know all the technology. But we don't. That's the bottom line. We don't, man. In terms of percentage, and knowing what's truly out there and what they've truly got, it would be a very low percentage in my view. Hey, I could be wrong, but that would be my take. What's happened here? Why? Oh, there we go. The screen went a bit laggy, I think would be the word. So, but Pentagon officials accepted that their research won't quell popular beliefs about alien visitors. No, because I mean, a lot of people, they will not let that go. They will not have that tarnished. No! They'll be strangling you if you tell them, oh, by the way, it's highly likely that there is no ET from outer Earth. But, I mean, yeah, there could be unknowns about this Earth, but another Earth, no. I'm sorry. Chances are no. No! They won't have it. They'll be out with the shotgun chasing you down the road. And I've mentioned before that happened, well, not that exactly, but similar happened to Bill Cooper in the ufology community. So Bill was a wee bit like, I guess similar to me and maybe other people early on. Yeah, maybe, who knows, maybe there is that, maybe that's ET. Just sort of trying to work out what's what and do your own research. And then he concluded, well, actually, it's not ET though. It's government entities. And the ufology community said, no! How could you? You're a shill. You're a government agent. You don't want us to know about the aliens. Because, like, seemingly people, they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it. Like the guardian or the parent of the masses. I mean, who do these entities think they are, man? Couldn't handle it. I'll give them something they can't handle. Insert joke, right? I'll let your imagination complete that. So yeah, that'll never go away. I can't see that ever going away. There's always going to be this hardcore community that are, there must be people, there must be aliens. We cannot be alone. To the point where they'll pop an artery angry about you. I'm quite content in note. In fact, I probably take more contentness from the belief that it's only us than I would from, oh well, there might be other planets with human-like people or human-like people. Does that even make sense? There could be other universes that are similar. I mean, yeah, it's a kind of Hollywoody fucking fairy tale belief. Whereas thinking that we're it, it's not so much Hollywood. There's no glamour to it. It's not got this sparkle, I guess, to a lot of people. But for me, it does when you sit down and think about it. It makes me feel a bit more privileged, I guess, to have been born into this world and we dropped out. I think we should be back. I knew it was going to happen. It'd been warning me the whole time. It's been flashing saying, look, your Wi-Fi is going to go. So watch what you're saying. We'll pull it at the right moment. So yeah, I guess, where was I getting to there? Yeah, got beamed up. I got beamed up. Abducted. If only, right? If only! Come and take me! I'm sick of it! I've had enough. So yeah, I think, yeah, I do feel, just to kind of finish that bit off, I do feel a sense of, I guess, privilege and pride in thinking, yeah, you are lucky. As bad as things can be, you're here. You're still here. You're still going. You might only be here once, so hey, enjoy what you can while you can. And when you think along that lines, when you add on top of that, this might be the only world ever. That kind of gives me a sense of, I don't know how I would describe it, to be honest. Possibly pride, but I know you have to be careful with pride as well. It can be, when it comes to pride and ego, it's they're two interesting things where you've kind of got to find that right balance with the ego and pride to a degree. Because I think there is things that we should have pride in and we should be proud of, but we should also be, I get, in a way, not over the top. But again, it's getting that balance. It's getting that balance, right? But hey, I'm no expert, that's for sure. Far from it. Oh, where did we get to before we get on to the syndrome? Oh yeah, the proliferation. We got there. The proliferation of television programs, books, movies, and the vast amount of internet and social media content centered on UAP related topics most likely has influenced the public conversation on this topic and reinforced these beliefs within some sections of the population, the report said. And yeah, I would probably agree with that, to be honest. I would probably agree with that. Yeah, I think maybe not ego, but confidence. I think having a bit of confidence and pride and a bit of maybe competitiveness without going over the top. I think it can keep you going. It can kind of spur you on. But it's probably more down to who the individual is, to be honest, because we're all different, even though we all do certain things the same way. When you break down an individual character, when you break them down and look at their personality and who they are, we're all different, man. No two people, well, mind you, actually, I have met some people that are the same. I have met some people that are like fucking peas in a pod, man. Like peas in a pod. But there's always different quirks and different characteristics. No two people are ever going to be. Well, you get identical twins, do you? So, but even they're different. I remember we had twins in our school, primary school. I think 2 or 3 sets of twins. And a lot of the time you couldn't tell them apart. But you could when they through their behavior or the way they were. Because they were like two very different people. But they were identical. Twins are a pretty cool thing, I think. It did cross my mind when we had our last child. I did think, oh, knowing my luck, it's going to be twins. Because I've got twins in my family and my wife has as well. And I thought that increases the chances. And I kept thinking, because at that time I was wanting to have a boy. And I kept thinking, it's going to be 2 girls, right? It's knowing my luck, it's going to be 2 girls, and it's going to be twins or triplets. But I wasn't that lucky, so I got my son, Billy, and I was happy with that. And I think, given the situation that happened with Billy and the receiving treatment and my daughter with her autism, the kind of stress on my wife that she got and the whole labour situation, I think we both came to the same conclusion pretty rapid that we were not having any more, no more, right? So I've got 2 are biologically mine, then the eldest, who, I mean, he's still my son, even though he's not biologically my son, he is my son. I got with my wife when he was, I think, 3. So I've pretty much brought him up, maybe 4 actually. So I've pretty much brought him up, and he's a nightmare. He's a nightmare, right? Typical. Nah, he's not too bad. So I the first child I had biologically was my daughter, and I kind of hoped that it was a son because my dad had passed away, and I wanted to name my son Billy, and it ended up being a female. So then, yeah, my wife knew that we would probably try again. Although I never expected it so quick. But yeah, then we did. We had Billy. But I did kind of think, knowing my luck, I'm gonna keep having girls, and then I'm never gonna get the boy. Because I do know a couple who, they're on like 5 girls they've got, and it's like, what the heck? I mean, what does that come down to? How does the same couple have 5 girls in a row? I mean, what would the chances be of that? And I remember thinking, well, they can't produce boys, right? What would that be down to? Is that down to DNA? Is it down to the environment? Is it simply just whichever way the pendulum shifts on the day? But 5 times, I'm sure it's more than 5, but we'll say 5. Each time a female, and they're now kind of like, well, we're never going to get a boy. Well, I find that really interesting. Justine knows someone with 5 girls as well. Yikes. I mean, could you imagine? Fuck it, no. My God. Honestly don't know what would be worse. 5 boys or 5 girls. I mean, they would both be a nightmare. They would both be a nightmare. Because you're never done. No matter if it's a lassie or a boy, you're never done worrying and caring and concerning yourself. Even maybe if you're not getting along, you love your kids, so that doesn't go away, I guess. So you're never done, you're never finished. There's no end to it. Have kids, they said. It'll be great. It'll be great, they said. You'll love it, they said, right? And you just grin and get on with it. That's the best way to do it. So yeah, television programs, books, movies, the internet, social media. There's been this constant push over the years of pushing this alien ET UFO narrative. And you can be guaranteed that's had an effect. Guaranteed. Oh yeah, I think Norman. Good to see you again, Norman. I will share it. Once I'm done here, if it's up or whenever it's up, I'll share it and hopefully people can jump over and check it out. That should be quite interesting. 9/11 debate with a guy who's like, I don't know, some kind of weird, not Norman, the blue bacon guy, some kind of weird fucking, I don't know, agent of some sort. He appears to be working for somebody. I mean, yeah, I guess you could maybe say what would be the point in debating him, but I think through that, yeah, I doubt very much you're ever going to get through to him, but I think through that you could maybe expose the guy for what he is, which could be interesting. I've kind of kept an eye on him, and I'm certainly suspicious of the guy. So we'll join you for the debate. We'll check it out, and then I might put across a few views on that particular person in the whole 9/11 scenario, because we'll be coming back to that next week and Apollo, and then I think we could have a week or maybe 2 break. Yeah, 5 girls would be would be worse. They're all mental. Look, hey, I'm saying nothing, Toffee, right? I'm saying nothing, but yeah, you could be right. I don't know. I just foresee major problems with any 5 boys or 5 girls. I just see major problems. But yeah, I think 5 girls could be, especially when they got to like teenage years. Holy moly, man. You would end up bloody smashing somebody's head in. You end up getting jail time for some guy treated someone in the wrong way. You'd have your work cut out for you there, man, with 5 girls to protect and look after. At least with boys, they can kind of, I mean, girls can, don't get me wrong, lassies can look after themselves, but you've a wee bit less to worry about with the males, I guess, even though you still worry. 4 girls I have to 3 mums. Ross has been spreading the seed. Fair play. Yeah, I know a few people, females who I've heard, oh, wait, what, they're pregnant again? With a different guy again? And I always think, fucking hell, man. I mean, yeah, hey, create, but I don't know. I guess it's natural to reproduce. Probably the most natural thing you can do as an adult. It's kind of the reason for living, basically, when you break it down, is to reproduce, which is why very early on in the kind of history of man, it was deemed as a way of cheating death. You would cheat death by making another copy of yourself. And you've avoided it, right? I could see why maybe people thought that, to be fair. But yeah, a lot of people, society's not, it's beginning to become unfit for purpose for a family unit, the safety of children. And times are slowly, well, not even slowly now, they're changing rapid, man, in terms of the safety. And there's many different factors to that. Justine, 2 daughters, 10 years apart. Yeah, I have always kind of wondered because ours are quite, 2 of them in particular, pretty close, which at the time was quite handy because, I mean, it just felt handy rather than them being years apart. And my wife did say, "Oh, there's no way now. They're too many years apart. They would be too many years apart." But I mean, I don't see how that would matter because our youngest son Billy, he said, because he's the youngest, he said in the past to me and my wife, "Oh, I want to have a wee brother or a wee sister." And it's like, well, that's not going to happen, I'm afraid, because we were pretty much done. And I kind of know where he's coming from because I was the youngest out of three boys. And I can't remember growing up at times thinking, yeah, it would have been cool to have a wee brother to look after and lead astray. Lead astray, because that's what I got by my 2 brothers, fucking led astray constantly. Bloody bad news, them 2. Getting done over. Like the run to the litter, basically. So I do know, I do know what it feels like to be the youngest sibling. But I mean, I was content enough, to be fair. For us, we never in a position to be well off, in a kind of money sense. So I think I did, even at a young age, kind of know that it wouldn't be good to bring another kid into the family and take stuff away from me, right? Be like enemies. So I think even quite young, I seen that we struggled to a certain degree, even though I had quite a good childhood. Certainly not the best. But I did. I learned. I think having 2 older brothers as well. I mean, you could look at it as a blessing. You could look at it as a kind of curse as well. A lot of stuff I was seeing and doing way before I should have been doing it. So I did begin to grow up before my time because I looked up to my big brothers. I wanted to do what they were doing. But in reality, I probably shouldn't have been cutting about with them and their friends. I should have been away doing my own thing. Because there was me, and then my middle brother, he was 2 years older. Then the eldest brother was 4 years older than me. So a lot of the time I would have just went with them. So I'd have been hanging about with people that were 2 years older, 4 years older, and sometimes even older than that. At quite a young age, to the point where getting involved in stupid stuff like vandalism, smoking, drinking, and all the mod con, taking drugs and what have you, even at a very young age, and bringing some of my friends into it as well. Not pushing them into it. Well, I guess they would have to answer that. Not pushing them into it, but you think you're cool when you're young and you're doing stuff that your older siblings and your older friends are doing, and they big it up like it's great. And at the time, it is great, to be fair, but it can take a toll, man. It takes a toll, and it catches up on everyone. When you're doing stuff that you shouldn't, it'll catch up on you, man. Especially health-wise. So it was probably not a great idea, but it's a different world today. Do you know when you think about your kids growing up and you think about when you grew up and it's like, wait a minute, it's chalk and cheese though? And people have said in the past, oh, you can't compare and it's different and adults don't know or kids don't know. And it's like even since 1990s, a completely different world that we're in today. I think it might be worse today for children, and in particular in regards to safety. Because when I was growing up, you could open the door, you could keep it open. Fucking my dad never even used to lock the door. My front door was never locked in my dad's house. He just did not lock it. Did not lock it, man. It's not that it never had a lock, because it did. But 9 times out of 10, it was open. And through the summer, if me and my friends or friends that hung about where my dad stayed, doors would be open, your neighbours' doors, kids would be out, you'd be down the road at a friend's house, they're paddling pools, fucking out on your bike, all kinds of different places, people looking out for one another, helping each other out, a neighbour fixing a neighbour's bike, or like a sense of community that's slowly but surely fading away. It's fading away, man. If not faded away. And when I think back, it's quite interesting because going back to what I said about the environment around you, the surroundings, how that can affect behaviour. I stayed on a place that was called Devil's Island. That's what it ended up getting nicknamed. It wasn't because I stayed there, but it had a bit of a reputation. And it was like a big gigantic circle that was like on a hill. So half of this gigantic circle of housing was on a hill and going down. And it was like joined. So it was like its own wee knit island community. Hence it was called the Devil's Island. But it did it the surroundings it was in made it like its own community, cut off from the rest of the town. And I think that played a part in how people got on with each other. So you had these big block of big block of 4 flats, one downstairs, one upstairs, 2 bedroomed, and you were the four different flats in one block was kind of like a house in itself. You were that close knit to your neighbours. You would be in and out of houses, like for example over Hogmanay or Christmas. You could just walk into someone's fucking house. They would know you. They would know everything about you. They would welcome you. The doors would be open for people to go in. But then even when I was growing up, that all began to change. Cars were getting stolen. People were getting beaten up. More and more people were taking drugs and taking up alcohol abuse, and the police were never away from it as time went on. So even in my growing up, it was good at one point in terms of the sense of community, but now even that's breaking down. And when I think about the way they make houses today and the way they lay out streets, and it's different, man. A lot of people, they don't want to know. They don't even want to know who's next door. Excuse me. You don't even want to know, man. They don't care about the community. And of course, there's major dilution of communities, which is tenfold, well, 50-fold now. But of course, that'll be climate change done it. Oh, the war in Syria. I wonder if now, because they got rid of the boogeyman, can we send all the Syrians back now that came here? Oh, because it's not safe anymore. I mean, it's so fucking... It's so ironic and comical of Britain, Scotland, to be thinking that we're in some position that we can simply open the door and say to any Tom, Dick and Harry, murderer, rapist, criminal, oh, in you come, help yourself, take a seat, here's a house, have a car, have some money. No, don't worry about doing things in the proper manner. Fear not. We're in the best position ever to be caring for anybody. Tom, Dick and Harry. Yeah, that would be more like it. Look, I'll do the jokes here, but yeah, that would be it. I mean, we're in no position, man. In terms of the infrastructure of the UK that we depend on, it's in a fucking coma. It's in a coma. And we're inviting, well, not us in particular, but the powers that be are shipping in all these people. And it doesn't matter who you are in the UK, whether you're black, white, brown, pink, blue, green, I care not. If you are a person who loves this country, who would protect this country, who cares about the people in it, then you're good enough for me. But if you're none of that, then I'm sorry, but you're in no position to be here. We're in no position to be having it. We're a tiny wee island, man. We're teeny. And we just seem to be continuously being run down, man, and constantly just insulted. And it kind of breaks my heart, man, to see people suffering in the UK who shouldn't be suffering, no matter who they are. But that's on the increase, and especially over the winter months, man. People staying out in tents in the winter. I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but do these people not understand? That is, you will seriously pay the price for camping out in the winter in a tent. Because when you do that, 90% of the time in minus temperatures, if you're not trained in surviving such a situation, you'll go to sleep. I'll tell you now, you will not wake up. Your body won't, man. It'll shut down completely. Completely. So all these people that are staying in tents, fucking hell, they're braver men than me. Because that is just, honest to God, man. I'll be very surprised if people are doing that night in, night out. It is not a great idea. I remember even we camped out, it was in September. we camped out one September, and I woke up like in the middle of the night, fucking absolutely Baltic, man. And it wasn't even minus. It was like mid-September, trying to kind of get the last of the summer, but it was Baltic. And I remember I had went to sleep. We had like a place we used to go camping quite a bit. And I just remember waking up, and honest to God, my body was freezing. And I was in my sleeping bag, and I remember I touched my leg, and I could feel the coldness on my leg. And it was at that point I was like, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm going home. I'm going home now. So hopefully a lot of people think that. Do you know what? I'm maybe just going to go back. But I did. I woke up. There was other people there, and I said, "Look, I'm going." It is absolutely Baltic. It was like 3-4 a.m. and I thought, "Fuck this! I'm not." I mean, there's no way I was getting back to sleep. I got up and I packed the tent away, and we headed back into town. But honestly, that was my whole body was like an ice cube. And that was not even in a minus temperature. So we'll jump on to the previously fought syndrome before we wind it down. Sue in the Hood, Paul as well. I'll need to keep an eye on Paul. I'll put the link up for Paul, right? We'll get a chat. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Did I see Laura? Laura, there she goes. Good to see you, Laura. I hope you're doing good. So we'll finish even on the previously fought segment. Why is it took me all the way back there? How did I get to the bottom? Again, what the heck? Oh, there's someone said, "This is shit." This is shit. Well, hey, you're entitled to your opinion. No one's forcing you to watch, right? Let me see you do better. Let me see how good you are at the previously fought syndrome. Let me see what you've got, right? People are free to comment whatever they want to say. It's no fucking skin off my nose, to be honest. Than previously fought syndrome. Back again. Now, you might kind of wonder, why is it still... How did I get it back to the start so I can see comments? Oh, there we go. Ulick, Mark. Yep, we're good. We're at the bottom. So yeah, in this kind of segment, which was a show of its own at one point, basically what we do is rewrite history. How can you do that? Quite simple, really. So the plan is tonight that we don't have to rewrite history. I mean, we can't be every week rewriting history. How can people keep up with that? They can't. And I've had that in the past. I've been debating or discussing a certain subject, and the person doesn't know that the story regarding it has changed. And they're still spouting the old narrative. And I'm like, well, you do know that they've came out and said that's not the case, though. And it's like, so what you learn this year won't be the same as what you learn in years to come. It'll be different. And that's a guarantee. You can take that to the bank. Mark my words. We are in a forever changing reality, constantly. Constantly, man. So hopefully we're not going to be rewriting any, because we don't like having to dig out the history books and get the Tipp-Ex out and rewrite. So WSJ 22 hours ago, Neanderthals and humans mated. More recently, than previously thought. Neanderthals and humans got it on more recently than previously. Have you got that book, history book? No, the one on the Neanderthals and humans getting it on. Yeah, bring it out. We're bringing it out. I'll get the pen, right? There we go. Tip X, anybody? Tip X. So straight off the bat, we're rewriting, we're erasing the old history and bringing in the new, rigorous, dependable, ever trustworthy history regarding Neanderthals and humans mating. There's an image you didn't you didn't think you'd be conjuring up this evening. Well, this morning now. Hey, whatever floats your boat, right? Neanderthals. Yeah, interesting characters, them. So that would come as a bit of a shock to people, right? 2 studies, so you know it's genuine stuff. There's been a study by an expert in a white coat with a PhD, not paid by any suspicious entities to come up with a particular narrative, but you know it's good stuff, right? 2 studies confirm similar timelines for the mingling of this species. The mingling. Yeah. What are they trying to say? They mingled? They got on with each other? They didn't even fight? Wait, there was no racism? There was no sexism? Interesting. If it's to be believed, of course. Oh, wait a minute. We jumped the gun. The intermixing provided Homo sapiens with advantageous genes. Super genes. Huh. Super genes, right? Interesting. The intermixing provided Homo sapiens with advantageous genes. So, what are we talking here? Levi genes or Armani genes? Hey, I'm here all week. So, yeah, we rewrite history. Live Science 22 hours ago. Our sun may be overdue for a super flare. Stronger than billions and billions and billions and trillions of atomic bombs. Times a billion. New research warns. What to think of this? Our sun may be overdue for a super flare stronger than billions of atomic bombs. And it's been researched, so people in white coats again, right? Yeah, sun flares is one. Yeah, it's been in the syndrome a fair bit. Thinking back, it's one we've talked about in the past. We looked at what was it again? The Carrickting event, which was seemingly a sun flare in, I don't know, the fucking 1800s that nobody noticed, but seemingly it knocked out a telephone pole. I guess we take their word for it. I don't know, maybe it was seemingly picked up on some fucking graph or bit of technology. But it's an event where, I don't know, me personally, I take it with a pinch of salt. I wouldn't put any weight behind it. The evidence surrounding it is vague and a bit iffy. Even to the point where I think people who they've looked into it, and I think one particular thing that was noticed was this event took place, but seemingly there was from what I heard, there was an encyclopedia at the time and round about the time after that had no mention of this particular event, but it should have had it happened. But then, seemingly all of a sudden, it appeared later in the history and encyclopedias. And I guess some might say, well, maybe it was just late in being updated. I guess that could be true, but there's a lot more red flags that encase the whole kind of Carrington event theory. But maybe it did happen. Maybe it did. But it's one they continue to push constantly. Oh, sun flare. Oh, it's going to knock out the interweb. Oh, it's going to cause a blackout. We've talked about that before. They pushed that one big time. They still do today. Our sun could produce catastrophic super flares far more often than previously thought. And one may even be due soon, according to new research. Be sure to slip in. Oh, new research. It's the scientist who done it. Make sure you put that in, because then they buy it, right? That's a constant threat, I'm going to call it. It's a constant threat that they hung over us saying, look, there's going to be one soon. And it'll wipe out all the communications. And I mean, they big it up so much, you kind of, in your mind, you've got this image of people being fucking hit by some form of direct energy weapon. And just being turned to ash on the spot by a super duper catastrophic super duper catastrophic sun flare, the equivalent to 1,000,000,000 billion trillion zillion nuclear bombs. I hear you're having a giveaway. Who told you that? Was that you, like, that said that? Hey, if I could, I would. Iron brew, yeah. I don't know if you would like it. It's an acquired taste. It's an acquired taste, iron brew. With me not being a big fan of fizzy pop, it's not really my cup of tea, but it's not bad, actually, iron brew. Yeah, if Iron Brew want to do a sponsor, then I'm sure we can make that happen, right? Actually, where I stay, in Murrayshire, Moray, there used to be a local fizzy drink here called Murray Cup. It was like red cola, a bit like red cola, or red Tizer, maybe. You know the red Tizer? It was like that, but it had a bit more spice to it, maybe. And it was quite famous here locally. And people were kind of happy they had their own local fizzy drink rather than Iron Brew, which is hugely popular here. Rather than Iron Brew, Pepsi or Coca-Cola, of course. I think Coca-Cola in Scotland is the only country where Coca-Cola is not the top fizzy drink. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. So the Scots are a proud nation. They love their Iron Brew. But even locally here, we were proud of Murray Cup. And it came out again. What happened was it shut down. And people were like a bit upset about it, but there was no going back. It shut down. I think the sugar tax had a lot to do with it, and different tariffs regarding how much sugar. But the company decided, look, we're going to stop selling. And then about a month or so ago, a company picked up on it, maybe bought the rights, I don't know, and released it as a limited edition Murray Cup. And but it wasn't the same. It's not the same. It wasn't. It was red, but it wasn't the dark red that Murray Cup should be. And if you go on to Google and you type in Murray Cup, MORAYCUP, Murray Cup juice, you'll see it. It's a red liquid. You should see it if you just simply type that in. Do it honestly, because do you know what's funny? When it first came out, on the label, they had two black guys on it. It was quite funny because, like, in Murrayshire, like the most whitest place in the UK, there was these two black individuals. They looked like twins that were on the label of a Scottish-made Murray Cup drink. But God only knows, and even still to this day, nobody knows why they had these two black fellas on the label. And when the limited edition came out, I had said to my wife, I bet you any money they don't put the two black guys on it. And she was like, why not? And I was like, because some people thought it was racist. Or it was somehow related to the slave trade, the slave industry. I mean, today. So it was kind of frowned upon, but to me it was like a quirk of it. It was a strange quirk they had, like this in Scotland. This drink with a label with two black guys on a bottle of Murray Cup. I probably should pull it up myself. We'll see if we can get it. So yeah, good to see you look in the hood. You could be correct. Yeah, I'm sure I read that. It's not something that I looked into off my own back, but I'm sure I remember reading there was concern regarding this particular correcting. I'm sure it was correcting. I might be making that up. I've said it that much now. It's like, fuck, is that even the word? I'm sure it was a Sunflare event, seemingly one of the biggest on, I guess, records history since records began, whenever that is. So, according to new research, observations made using a new method. Oh, they've got a new method. So, instead of doing what they've done before, they've got a new method developed where they do 3 Hail Marys, spin around, touch the ground, turn back around, and then carry out the observations. And it's a super duper method, right? It's a will not fail method. And so the method, using a new method, have revealed that sun-like stars produce cataclysmic super flares once every 100 years. Could our sun create one soon? Cataclysmic? 1 billion atomic bombs? Yeah. Interesting. Quite an interesting one, that, and not surprising to see it in the than previously thought syndrome. Yahoo one day ago. The universe! It's expanding faster than previously thought. Of course it is. Of course, right? You can believe them because, let me guess, a new study, a rigorous study, an expert, a guy in a white coat, a turnaround, touch the ground, 3 Hail Marys study method. And again, the universe, what they call the universe, is another story that continues to pop up in the syndrome, and it continues to be changed and altered and manipulated. Nothing about it whatsoever is in any way set in stone. Never, man. Never 100%. They'll give it to you as gospel. Then within a matter of time, it's the complete opposite. So why would anybody believe any fucking thing they've got to say? It'll change with it. Give it time. It'll like the weather in Scotland. Do you know in Scotland, Scotland's it's very, very, very unique. Very unique in terms of the climate here. A lot of countries, they get four different seasons? But in Scotland we get 2. And that would be the 17th of July and winter. That's it. A couple of days in July, June maybe if you're lucky, then winter. Eternal winter. Think Siberia, Antarctica. That'll give you an idea of what it's like. But hey, people have coped, and a lot of people here, you're born into it. Generations stayed here, so I think in a way you develop a backbone that can kind of cope with the winter and the continued coldness and the continued rain. And what's that other thing it does? Oh yeah, rain. And what's that? Oh yeah, rain. Oh yeah, rain. That's right. And more rain. Your only guarantee in Scotland is someone drunk on the street throwing stuff at you or trying to get your attention, and of course rain. Don't forget the rain. How could you? So the universe is expanding faster than previously thought. One day ago, shock horror. Now, I think that we must have missed it last when we were away a month ago. And this one cracked me up. The Independent 1 month ago. Drunk animals far more common than previously thought. Scientists say. So, probably Scottish. Although, come to think of it, it kind of rings a bell now. So, maybe we did. Maybe we did cover it. He's like, you covered that before. Maybe we did. What time are we on? Not bad. Only, 4 hours, nearly? So we got there in the end. I was gonna maybe cry off tonight. Just because the whole day, man, it's been a fucking nightmare. And then freezing. I mean, it would freeze the balls off a fucking brass monkey just now. And being out, the Santa, the convoy was late. And I thought, typical. That's why I had set pretty much everything to go this afternoon, late afternoon. But I couldn't put a time on it because, hey, Santa, who knows, right? Who knows what he's up to? So I knew there was going to be a hit or a miss. I couldn't put any time on when I'd get on. And of course, they were late. It was taking ages. We were freezing. I was stressed. It was a nightmare. The kids loved it. And then I thought, well, maybe we'll just do it next week. Then I thought, nah, do you know what? We're going to do it tonight. We're going to do it tonight. And I mean, I already had the slides. So I thought, hey, fuck it. We'll do it, right? So we've done it. We got there. We got to the end, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, we're pretty much at the end. Look at that cheeky wee monkey. Is that a monkey? What even is that? An ape? A gorilla? That's a weird looking monkey, that, right? Strange looking character. And that's coming from it's coming from me. Takes one to know one, right? Seemingly. So yeah, I guess when it comes to the mainstream media, my advice would be never in any way be fear fearful of what they've got to say. Because fear seems to be something they play on quite a lot. They want you to be fearful constantly, man. If it's not Russia, it's Iran. If it's not Iran, it's Russia. If it's not Iran and Russia, it's the aliens. If it's not UFOs, it's the climate change. If it's not climate change, it's microplastics. If it's not microplastics, it's drone satellites falling out the sky. So it's constant, man. And that, like, the likelihood of that letting up is very slim. So you, in a sense, I mean, it's my opinion again, but you begin to prioritize where you feel you should put your energy. And again, if you don't want to help, I guess, in exposing different agendas, then yeah, I guess you can still look into them, you can still research it. But I think it's only human that when you begin to see the reality that we're in, human nature kind of pushes you to the conclusion that, well, I kind of want to do something about it. Once you begin to see it for what it is, you will eventually, and again, in my view, you will eventually have to choose between trying to fight against it or not, going back to sleep. But it's, I think a lot of people, and even trying to think with myself, you begin to, the world around you begins to unfold over time. And a lot of what you thought about the world is stripped away. For example, like, I don't know, the belief that the government care about you. I mean, you kind of grew up thinking that was the case. That the police are there to protect you, to fight for you. Fucking hell, how wrong was I with that one, man? I was way off the mark. Way off the mark, man. But I was under that illusion. And it is an illusion. Because it's not the case. So you, in a sense, you're either content with that or you're not. You can live with it to a degree, but I think over time, naturally, you're going to want to try, whether it be in a small way or a big way, to possibly alert people to what you might have found in research. I think in particular, your close family, your close friends, the people that you care about. Because, I mean, yeah, UFOs and alien, if you want to call them conspiracy theories, might mean nothing and what have you. But like I mentioned before, when you're talking about agendas like pandemics or a mass treatment of a enormous amount of people, that is a situation where doing research could be the difference between being here tomorrow and not being here tomorrow. And that, I guess, is for maybe another day, right? So we'll begin to wind it down. And where am I away to tomorrow? Football. Elgin City against Stirling Albion. And I'll be in Elgin tomorrow. And then my wife doesn't know it yet, but the next 3 weekends I've already pretty much booked up to the football, to my local football team. because they're doing really well. A good buzz about the club. It's good to finally see them doing well. So I'll be there probably with my son tomorrow. Watch the game. I know for a fact it'll be Baltic. It'll be freezing, man. The stuff you do, right? Just to stand there in the cold for like 2 hours nearly. Everton Arsenal tomorrow. Oh man, big game for the Toffees. That. Yeah, hey, I can't see you doing much there. To be honest, Arsenal they're a great side, fantastic, tactically, top class, even down to set piece play. The set piece coach they've got is quite a guy. I think as well now, because Arsenal are getting so good at scoring from a corner kick, people are comparing them to, remember the guy Rory Delap who had the long throw. He played for Stoke City. Arsenal are the new Stoke City. But it's funny, man, because, and I've had this conversation before. We're way off topic now, but I've talked about this before, where I get really annoyed watching my local team, and when it comes to a set piece, in particular a corner kick, it's so wasted, man. It just, like 9 times out of 10 wasted. When being a semi-pro and sometimes professional players, they should be scoring, man. You should be scoring. If you've got 10 corners in a game and you don't score any, there's something wrong there. And for a long time now, I've been saying to folk, look, teams they don't capitalise on it as much as they should. It is a fantastic goal scoring opportunity. That's a lot of the time it's simply wasted by a poor ball in or lack of communication when the ball is put in. So I've kind of been waiting for a team to stand out. I've been waiting for a team to stand out. Because, like, why are people not looking into this more? There's ways to tactically go about it. I guess you've got to be of that tactical mind where you need to think outside the box. And I think that you can also apply that in terms of fighting against anything, basically. You need to be thinking outside the box. You've got to. Because when we're not, it's not going to get us anywhere. We need to think outside the box. We need to try any avenue we can get our hands on and exhaust it as best as we can. Where that'll get us, hey, who knows, right? We can only try. We can only try. So good to see everyone. What we'll do is we'll find a tune. There's no Alan Shearer now. Who the hell's Alan Shearer? Some Geordie. Not a Rangers fan, no. Shock horror. Yeah, a lot of people in Scotland, Celtic Rangers. I'm more a local supporter. But even here, you've got people, they support Rangers. They don't even support their local team. They support Rangers or Celtic, but yeah, gigantic clubs, them. Humongous support across the world. Quite staggering, to be honest. So yeah, it's good to see everyone. I hope everyone has a good weekend. I'll be freezing again at the weekend. Maybe I should get some kind of hot water bottle. Do people still use them? Do they still make hot water bottles? Maybe I could just make my own, right? So I hope everyone has a good time. I'll find a tune. We'll call it a night, pretty much on the 4-hour mark. And that's me trying to do it less. Yeah, fucking hell. That's me trying to cut it down. We'll cut it down. We've went longer than previously thought. Where's one that I've not played? for a good time. Yeah, in terms of being back, I reckon it'll be, if I'm not back on Wednesday, it might be Friday, and then that could be it until 2025 at least. Although I kind of want to do I think last year we done a end of the year stream looking at the year as a whole, which is it's quite daunting. It's quite a daunting thing to do. So we might do that and look at maybe if there's any word coming out of the next blueprint in regards to the global crisis document. And that might be the final stream of the year. And I guess that'll be 2024 in the bag. And we'll be into 2025. I mean, yikes. Yeah. Let's not get started. We'll get into that when the time comes. Yeah, thanks for cutting it down. Thanks for cutting it down from 8 hours to 4 hours, right? So we're across the board. We've got a few people over on X and YouTube. On Facebook, we tend to not do very well. It depends on the topic, to be fair, or what floats your boat, if you like. Oh, thanks very much, Mark. Much appreciated. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Get some whiskey. I might get one tomorrow. I'll see how I feel. Right, that'll certainly warm the blood up. A couple of doubles down the hatch. I'll be shouting at the referee and anybody else in the way. So good to see Paul and Sue. I hope you're doing well. Ragnar, hope you're doing good. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you on Sunday. Ulick, I hope you and Joni are doing fine over in America. Toffee, I would like to say good luck to your team, but I can't. I can't. So, hey, yeah, Arsenal, we need the points more. We need them more, right? So good to see you. And who knows? You never know in football. Tank as well. Good to see you, Tank. I never noticed you there. I hope you're doing well. Anybody else that I missed? MB, there you go. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, MB. Anybody else quickly that joined? Sue, Paul, Justine. Always a pleasure. Toffee, Laura as well. Good to see you, Laura. A few people off to their bed. Chilster, good to see you. Ross, good to see you. Norman, who was here. Who else was here early? I can't even remember. It was Luke. It's late. It's late, right? Give me a chance. So yeah, great to see everyone. Yeah. Well, what I'll do is I'll try and get on Wednesday, and that possibly will be the last kind of 9/11 focus stream of the year. And over Christmas, New Year, we'll kind of reflect on the channel, the content, and kind of think about where we might go in the year to come. I'm not expecting any drastic changes or anything like that, but we'll have a look at it and see. Yeah, local team Arsenal down in London, right? North London. Yeah, I think maybe 1998. Nah, it would have been before that. 96, 97 is when, well, where I stay, if you're big on football, the way it goes down here, because Elgin were a Highland League, pretty much non-league team, there was no, you never had you were never going to have a team that was going to be on the telly or going to be in the big league, if you like. So what pretty much everybody here done was they adopted an English team and sometimes a top Scottish team that was not in the Highland League or the Junior League. So that's kind of how that came about. And for me, it was Arsenal going back to the mid-90s. And I was so glad I picked them because they went on to do really well. Amazing, man. And so I'd landed lucky. But I was drawn to them, the crest, the club, the history. So I was drawn to it. A lot of my friends, that was either Liverpool, Man United. It was never Arsenal or, I don't know, fucking the Yids, Spurs. It was more, the popular teams were Liverpool and Man United, definitely. But I was not one for following the crowd, the masses, the sheeple. So in particular me fashion, I picked a club who was not followed by every fucking Tom, Dick and Harry, Tom, Dick and Hamish. So I think that played a part. I always kind of wanted to be just not part of the herd, man. Even at a young age. So yeah, it's been great. It's been great to see everyone. Is it too late to walk my dog? I could do it in the morning. Am I going to get the... Fucking hell, there's that mad guy walking his dog again. What time is it? It's fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. What's the sky like? It looks quite cloudy, which kind of ruins it. Toffees for an after party. Is that where it's at? Good man, Toffee. Toffee's putting up a live stream. Great stuff. I think Paul said he was jumping up. Ulick said, if you put up a link, Toffee, Ulick will join you. Ulick and Joni, they'll join you. So get the stream up, right? Give us something to do. We're not finished yet. Where do we go from here? We're all getting chucked out of Williams now. Williams chucking he's going to his bed. He's saying he's going to his bed. He's had enough. There's been drinks spilt. There's been fighting. There's been arguing. Right, we'll head off somewhere else now. So good to see everyone. I'll grab... I definitely need to get some new outro tunes. Where's the thingy-majig one? The hingwee? Yeah, that one. I've not played that in a short time. So yeah, good to see everyone. I wish everybody all the best. It's always a strange time of year, heading into December. I don't know what it is. It has this weird kind of feel to it. The end of the year. You know, a wee bit like the last day at school, or it was like the last day, but it wasn't school. It was more laid back and stuff like that. It has this strange aura to it. And we're not done yet. Guaranteed. They're going to slide stuff in before the year is out. Guaranteed the way it's going. So, no fear. Do not bend. Do not break. Get out there. Enjoy yourself. Do what you need to do. Don't let anybody get in your way. Nobody, man. Nobody gets in your way. Do what you need to do. And like I always say, no matter what, no matter where, do not comply. And that is about it. Bye-bye.
Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight.
You really heard that,
The rain.
the rain.
Right.
Well, we haven't learned to control the weather yet, but that's something we can look forward to as tomorrow's challenge.
Right.
We haven't learned to control the weather yet, but that's something we can look forward to as tomorrow's challenge.
Right.
Tomorrow's challenge. Right.